Going live. There we go.
Hey everybody, it's Tim with the Attitude for Gratitude podcast. Every Friday night down here at Will Work for Recovery, 4026 Washington Avenue North. Tonight we've got a show with some returning guests. It's the Just Hope organization that's coming on. They've been on a couple times now, and last time we were cut a little short right when some of the inner workings of Just Hope were about to share their stories. So tonight what we're going to have is a couple of their, I like to say the grease that keeps the wheel spinning. We're going to have some of the inner workings on the show tonight. And as always, we'll have Angel and Josh and John on the show. But we're also going to have the helpers and the people that volunteer, the people that really make the big difference. Not saying that the boys don't, but these are kind of the behind the scenes, the ones that volunteer their time, and they these places like Will Work for Recovery and other organizations that just are always giving back and seem to always be out there and like doing things and helping just to be helping. There's all these unseen people that are part of that we just usually don't hear about or get to talk to because they don't do it for those reasons. But I'm here to put a spotlight on that. Plus, I'd like to hear about it myself. Like I've always shared about the Attitude for Gratitude is something that I do. It helps me stay in my gratitude. Plus, it's something where it's my Friday night meeting. I get to share it with the world, but it's what I do on a Friday night nowadays. So I don't want to get too deep into it because that's what the show's for. I'm going to tell you guys about Will Work for Recovery. We're a nonprofit organization, a 501c, and it's an RCO. We are the nation's largest RCO based on the amount of people who come through the doors every week. We are a recovery community organization with multiple different resources. If you've never been down here, I challenge you to come check out Will Work for Recovery. We've got meetings every night of the week. We've got structured meetings at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Get on our website, check the Facebook page. There's always events and activities going on. We're always adding on. We're always doing bigger things and always like on to the next form of helping and what have you. I'll talk a little bit more about it once the show starts, but 4026 Washington Avenue North, Will Work for Recovery. Come on down, check us out, get involved, be part of, not apart from, and if you're struggling, please reach out. If you're having negative self-harm thoughts, dial 988. There are hotlines out there, or you can call Intergroup to get information on meetings. My number will be scrolling along the bottom, but just reach out. You're worth it. If you haven't heard it, or you haven't been told this, or you don't know about it, stick around. You'll hear about some recovery. You'll hear about this new life. Sit down, relax, share this show, interact, ask questions, get involved. 3, 2, 1. We're live on TikTok and we're live out there in the world of Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Stitch and Jong and all that. And these boys already fighting. Look at that. Hey, pipe it down. We got a show started. We're live down here at Will Work for Recovery, 4026 Washington Avenue North. Come on down and check us out. We got a bonfire banging in the back right now. And then Big O's doing karaoke at 8:30. And you can come down here and look at us in the fishbowl through that little glass right there and watch us. We got a big screen TV above that glass. Basically, come get involved. Be part of, not apart from. We share about everything and use over nothing, baby. Every time we have the Just Hope guys in here, you guys know I get all gassed up and all jazzy and start jumping all around. So I apologize about that. You guys have heard 2 different shows now with Josh, John, and Angel, and you've heard their stories, and you've heard about Just Hope, their organization. I'm going to open the show up. Angel's going to recap a little bit about who Just Hope is, and then we're going to talk to the people that are behind the scenes and doing all the work. So with that said, like, we're down here at Will Work for Recovery, 4026 Washington Avenue North. We've got things popping off all week long. We have a 6:30 a.m. structured meeting here every day of the week, with exceptions to Saturday. We do have a walk and talk at 7 o'clock on Saturday evenings. Tuesday nights, we have a Will Bridie meeting, which is a native-based meeting. And Thursday nights is more of a spiritual meeting, faith-based meeting. And Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, they're very highly populated meetings. Tonight, I think we had 140 people in there. But we do recovery down here. This is a RCO, Recovery Community Organization. We've always got things going on, and there's a lot that I could sit and listen to myself talk about, but I'm not going to do that. What I'll tell you guys about is Chucky the Soap Man. I never want to forget about bringing up Chucky the Soap Man, the armor of Yah. This is the soap of hope. Bro, are you really trying to interrupt me and talk to me while I'm over here advertising this stuff?
I need to buy some.
Come on down to Will Work for Recovery and get you some.
Right here.
So
3 bars.
I'm gonna snap on Dan here again in a sec. But people walk in, people open this door while I'm doing the show, and they're like, "Hey Tim, what's up?" I'm like, bro, like we're live. We've been live. It's 8 o'clock. The same thing I've done for 4 years down here. Oh, okay. So what are you up to tonight? I'm like,
the only soap I can find to get
bro. So no, I know I sound like an asshole for a second. This is the armor of Yah. Chucky C had a vision about making soap and giving it to the world, and this is that soap. It's that real deal. Here you go, buddy. You can come down. You can donate some money for it,
Dude,
or you can just get some. Chucky won't not give you soap if you need some. But those of us who are able, give when we can give, or we just say thank you and we'll give next time. But it's the soap of hope, the armor of Yah. Chucky's got a heart the size of the world, man. So I support what he does. He's got a soap factory upstairs here, and along those same lines, like we've got a full gym here at Will Work for Recovery, like with all the little workout things. Like, look at that. That's from all the gym stuff. I haven't seen a weight in years. But we also Saturday, Jared, he's coming down here, and they're putting a roof on the. And Angel, yeah, you're gonna be part of that too. Nice. They look real excited about it. But we're building up the back room too, so there's gonna be like I don't know what they're doing with it, daycare, a store, or there's multiple things Carolyn's gonna do with that. But we have prayer rooms, we got ping pong tables and foosball tables, we got dartboards, we got live studios. TJ, what about her? That's hers. Okay, set it inside here. Like I said, people act like I'm not doing a live podcast here, but it is what it is. No, y'all just set it in here. I'll make sure it gets to her. All right, enough of me blabbling and all this. That third, come on down to Will Work for Recovery. Main thing I want you to know is, like, if you're out there struggling tonight, please reach out. You're worth this life for recovery. You're worth a second chance. You're gonna hear a room full of people that I can speak for myself, man. Like, I squandered that chance time and time again, and I'm here to talk about it. And I'm here. I'm alive. Like, by the grace of that dude up there in the corner. I just put that up so I can reference him now. Like, that dude up there. You see the dude looking over me? I was given another chance. Like, I don't like sitting here talking about, well, I shouldn't be here right now. And I was shoving needles in my arms for years. Call it what you will. A lot of people ain't here to talk about that, and I am. So, like, I'm grateful for that. And, like, if you're still here, able to hear us talking about this, like, give yourself a chance. You're worth it. If you are struggling, you're having them nasty thoughts, whatever, dial 988 or intergroup, or come on down to Will Work for Recovery. We'll be out here banging fires and singing music for quite a while. There's things to do on a Friday night that doesn't include, like, jails, institutions, and death. You know what I'm saying? All right, enough of me. All right, so we're going to start switching camera views and doing the things like professionals do when it comes to studios and podcasts and unmuting stuff.
Don't move the mic.
Oh, bro, don't move the mic. Just get, but honestly, get as close as you can. When you're the one talking, just get as close as you can to the mic. But you did something kind of pretty rad. Like, hey, add a QR code to share. Man, I don't need your money. I mean, I need your money. Like, if you're able to donate, come on down. Like, I'm good. That, for some reason, it's prompting me to add a QR code. I don't want to. I don't need to. Come on down and donate if you want. All right, bam, camera right there.
Dun dun dun.
Done. All right.
What's going on?
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, come on, baby.
Who are you?
I'm Dan.
Dan. Holler. Who are you?
Andrew.
Andrew. Who are you?
Blake Addict.
Blake Addict.
Keegan Addict.
Keegan and Young Man.
I'm Angel, baby.
What are you doing here, Angel? Who are you? What are you representing? What's up? Talk
We're
to me.
representing Just Hope, man. These are the Just Hope boys. These are the reasons why we still go. These main people right here, bro. They like you said, these are like the grease of Just Hope. There's plenty more too. Like, volunteers are the heart of Just Hope, and it's crazy how much these boys do. But I gotta explain what Just Hope is, and I suck at this. But
No, you're good.
so Just Hope is helping other people elevate. That's simple, you know what I mean? And that goes with so many different ways. We help, you know what I mean? We help people.
You're good. We just lost the video, but I'm gonna switch it to this camera anyway. But they still hear your pretty voice.
Our mission is to help people in recovery. We're RCO. That's huge for us.
What is an RCO again? Recovery community, or what is it?
Recovery organization.
Recovery community organization.
Yeah, community.
You're good. You did it.
Like I said, our mission is just to help other people, and that's what it was. 3 guys that came up with a mission, and we did it. Bro. Our all we wanted to do was just to help other people, and we did it freely, anyways. So you know what I mean, let's make it bigger than, you know, let's make it huge. Let's make let's get other people to do it and be a part of it. Let's make sure it's known that, you know, we do this freely. So me, Josh, John, we were sitting around and we're like, oh, he was saying Josh is the one that came up with it. And of course he called John into it, and then John had to call me into it, and it was over after that. And then we have our volunteers here that just make it happen, bro. It's just crazy. It's insane. Like Dan Mack over here, bro. He's an incredible outreach coordinator.
All right, I'm gonna slow you up real quick. Where do you guys have like a main hub, a main spot?
Yeah. We are in St. Paul, a couple blocks down from the Capitol off Rice Street.
550 Rice Street.
550 Rice Street.
Yeah.
Corner of Charles and Rice.
All right, and I'm
Upstairs from
gonna
the
put
Focus House.
that in the comment section here. So 550 Rice Street. Okay.
Yeah, come check us out, bro. Like the
Ring the
office,
doorbell.
the office is amazing. We have you can call us anytime for any clothing, any food, any Narcan, and somebody will show up there with you. If not, it's there. It's open until 9:45 at night. We have 2 closets filled with clothes. We have a little food shelf. It's not too much, but I'm planning on getting bigger. We have Narcan there. We have hygiene products. We have
Wound care products.
yes, we have wound care products. We do also do wound care when we do outreach. We haven't done it in a couple of months, but
But you guys did for a while, and every now and again, you guys have like a volunteer nurses.
yeah,
correct?
we have voluntary nurses. So like if you're a nurse and you need to get hours, because certain nurses need to get hours met, you can always come down and, you know, volunteer with Just Hope.
Being that you're a 501(c) and a legal RCO, you guys can legitimately write off those hours.
Legit.
Yes.
Yes.
For people
Crazy.
that are in their internship in schooling to get those hours.
Yes, correct,
Yep.
correct. And that goes like with if you just want to come and volunteer and come check us out. Like
What about
I said,
people with community service hours?
you can always come, bro. Always. If you got a bracelet on, you know what I mean, on house arrest. If you're on house arrest, I mean, tell your POs about us. You know, we can talk to them. We can figure it out. Just get to know us, and you'd be surprised what our community can do to move. You know what I mean, to move some stuff. It's a beautiful thing. Like I said, there was only 3 guys that just came up with this, and now it's huge, bro. We're RCO. That is so hard to become.
There's not many in Minnesota, and it is hard to get that recognition. I know just by what Carolyn shared when I overheard her and Josh talking about it. It's not the easiest thing to do, and you guys have done that. And you know what? Big ups.
Yeah.
That's been extremely quick too.
Yeah, no, and I get like there's a lot of work that has gone into this, and Josh was on here talking about the late nights, the paperwork, and like what's really goes on that side of things. But Angel, like you are here to be the face of Just Hope tonight on just that higher level of it, and you're doing a great job explaining what you guys were, how you guys came about. Also, what I want you to do is just share a tidbit give us a synopsis of Angel's story. Like, are you just some dude that was a businessman and doing good in life, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna help these guys start their RCO?
Yeah, bro. I was like, you know what I mean? I was making figures, you know what I mean? I was
eat chicken.
Let's see,
fingers.
like I say, I started off I started off with nothing. You know, I was in and out of foster care, all that. You know, I had an addiction problem. I never had nothing when I was younger. My mom was in recovery, so that kind of sparked that little seed. When it comes to recovery stuff. And I came in the rooms broken, bro. I like a man was saying in the rooms the other day, today, the meeting we were just in, right? I couldn't keep a needle on my arm. Like I couldn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't have nothing. I just got off probation. I just was fighting I was on probation for a gun case. I never thought this would be possible.
So you came in the rooms. You weren't like this shining example of good society member.
I had
Is he?
I had my hood up like this, and I couldn't look at people in the eye.
Right.
I wasn't capable of doing it.
Right. And I can speak as an outsider who's seen you, who's watched you walk through this life for a while now. It's like Angel's known, and if you're listening, you know who Angel is.
You know who Angel is.
Yeah.
You know who Angel is.
Hey!
Hey! You gotta say it right.
Hey, from 2218 to the Alamo clubs all around to the
Oh.
South Minneapolis, North Minneapolis, the East Side, the West Side, St. Paul areas, down here, like you move around and people don't have negative to say about you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And that's
come on. Is that different?
surprising. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, that's definitely surprising because I wasn't wanted anywhere.
Right.
And when I found these rooms, bro, I made sure I was known. You know what I mean? And that's part of my recovery. That's part of my story. When I came in those rooms, I make sure I was known and you know my name because it was part of my life. Like that was my life because I could have died. Like, you know, I'm not supposed to be here. I've been shot, stabbed. There's not a damn thing that haven't happened really, you know what I mean? Like, and I go in these rooms and I make sure I'm known and I speak what's really inside. And I like you said, my recovery is out loud. You know what I mean? That's what I love about our support group and Just Hope. Our recovery is out loud.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We scream this shit out loud. You know what I mean? This is our life. And I wouldn't go back. I got my kids back in my life. I got a fiance. I mean, I got a fiance. I got my boys, my baby boys. So hopefully watching this right now. He's like, oh, I want to see you. I'm like, bro, I can't. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that give me goosebumps, bro. This is a year, 2 years and a half. He's back in my
We
life.
got a couple on the YouTube channel, so I'm sure. I mean, not many link up on the YouTube live. Most watch it after.
Well,
the
shout
fact.
out Ashky. I love you, baby boy.
Look, family.
Yeah, I love you, baby boy.
Reunited in it. All right. So what you need to do is check out Just Hope. Do you guys have do you guys have? How can they contact you guys? 550 Rice Street.
JustHopeMN.org.
Come on. What is this again here?
JustHopeMN.org.
Just
Hope.
Hope MN.org. And what?
And we have Facebook. We have everything else.
And it's all Just Hope. And I think if you
Just Hope.
Google Just Hope,
It's the first one that pops
first one
up.
in is a picture of Angel. I believe so. Like,
Yeah.
like for real, I can't. I got the whole TikTok thing.
Hey,
going on my
Google
phone.
makes it happen. I don't know. You know what I mean? This is Google. They
Hey,
know what a pretty face looks like.
yeah.
Actually, it's Josh and Keegan.
Oh, they switched.
No. That's no.
That
If
is-
you Google,
No, Google.
If
Just
you
go to Google.
Google
and
Just
put
Hope.
Just Hope in. You'll see what. Matter of fact,
it's a picture, Angel.
yeah, buddy.
If I go to Google Images, this is what pops up.
No, it's Google. Not
I did.
images. Just Google.
Google right here. Google.
Yeah.
He's at
Just
Google.
Hope. That's it. Just Hope. And now what? Yeah. Oh, picture of Angel. Look at that.
Where?
All right. So all right, enough with the ego. All right. So what
I'm gonna fill it up some more. Come on. Hold
Hold
on.
He's starting to float away.
No, like I said, this ain't about me though. And I may have an ego.
I'm
but-
here, Dad.
Yeah, right. Oh, really? Ah, my baby boy. Hey, everybody say what's up to my baby boy. Come on.
What's up? I'm sorry you got to deal with him.
No, but
Another
that's what we
trouble.
get family back in our lives with this new shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Angel's talk about shots, stab, dope, needles, Most people aren't here to tell that story because they're dead or locked up for life.
You know?
Jails, institutions, and death isn't bullshit talk.
It's not.
It's not. If you've been in these rooms long enough, you've been to enough funerals to know that that's real talk.
You
You've been
know?
to enough. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. What were the biggest hurdles for you staying clean?
Biggest hurdle is staying clean. Bro, honestly, it's the biggest hurdle was my mom relapsing. That was one of the biggest hurdles. But other than that, taking trusting that process, man. You know what I mean? That's what they always say. I'm a firm believer on trusting that process, and things will come, but it takes time. You know what I mean? It's gonna
Right.
take time. So that patience, and I got ADHD, bro. I got an ADHD. I mean, I got some problems. Like I said, I wasn't in, you know what I mean? I had a life, and it was hard. It was hard to be patient and trust that process, you know, and then getting uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, you know, and that's growth. That's so much growth. So if I had anything that to tell somebody, man, be
Patient.
okay with that.
But
You know what I mean?
yeah, you know what? Like this correlation of someone that I can only speak for self, but like shooting dope, like that's a bop. You're getting high now,
Mhm.
satisfaction now. What's it gonna? We're gonna be the same with this other life. Like we want results right now. That's when you talk about patience. That's all I think about. Is like when I came in, I was like, "What's the answer? I want right now. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to wait. I got 24 hours. Just tell me the answer."
You know, and the just hopes, like I'm still going through. I mean, just hope is we got to be patient with just hope, because it will move fast, but there's still so much more that just hope's gonna be, and it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be, man.
What are
just
some
watch.
future things for just hope that you can talk about? Anything?
Some
You got
future
anything?
things?
Yeah, come on.
Dan can talk about that. He's
All
got
right,
he's got some activities coming up. Boy's got some stuff working out.
All
Boy,
Not
say
events.
we always got something going
Yes,
on.
and we're going to talk about those. That's when we're about to pass the torch here pretty
But
quick.
we are
Visions. What kind of visions are we trying to be worldwide? We
man,
trying to
we're
have
trying to
on
be
the stadium? What?
worldwide. I know we're trying to go to Hawaii. We're trying to be in Hawaii eventually. I know.
We're moving forward to try to become a 24-hour drop-in center.
Oh yeah, that will happen. That will happen for sure. Like I said, we already moved. We just moved in. We're partnering with my man James Cross, my cousin, and we're moving we're doing outreach every week now, so that's a plus. There's so much we do, bro. It's so much. Eventually I want to be over here on South Side to have another one.
This is the north side.
North Side.
I know you guys did things with Coon Recovery. Coon Recovery.
Coon
too,
Recovery
right?
is where it's at.
Yeah. I was trying to remember. I got the little tag right here, but so what do you tell someone out there who comes to them doors struggling like, Angel, all I want to do is use today. That's all I want to do.
You know what I say?
What do you say?
Don't fucking use.
Sorry about your eardrums out there, people.
I'm sorry. No,
No,
I
you got
what can I do
What
to
do you
help
do?
a person,
Yeah.
bro? I'll take them and I'll bring them for the day. He's stuck with me, bro.
There you go.
He's stuck with me.
There you go.
I mean, if he wants to use, bro, he's stuck with me. You know what I mean? Like,
I've actually seen it happen.
Hey, we do this thing together.
Floated down the river with a guy.
yeah, bro. It's you know what I mean. That's all. What else what can you do, bro? Just try to show them whatever you can, and just be there for the person, bro, and just tell them it's not worth it, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's all words, but in reality, a person really needs is somebody to be right next to them.
Right.
You know, and be with them. You know what I mean? Be 100% with them. And that's the best part, because honestly, if I wasn't with John or half the days, I probably would have messed up. You know, if I didn't stick with the crowd and stick in the rooms, I had to stick myself in the, you know what I mean, in meetings at most 24 hours. You know, I went to New Way for half the day, and then I went to 3 meetings after, if not 4.
Where'd you go? 3 hours or Pillsbury?
I went to New Way, baby.
Yeah, there's the 3 hours. There's Pillsbury House.
The other one on University.
Yeah, that's 3 hours, I think.
No, 3 hours. No, I think 3 hours is over Norman.
Yeah, this is
I
New
was
Way.
at the Pillsbury
University New Way. I went to Pillsbury. Bro, I'm a New Way. I went to.
That's where I got.
I was.
my-
Hey, I was one of the first ones that did outpatient at New Way. They had it at the right behind 2218.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
Pillsbury Mansion.
Yeah.
No, right behind
Oh,
2218.
the apartment.
The little no, it's a little
Oh, I know.
office, and there was only 4 of us.
Oh, is that where they did like admissions?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's when we first started, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
Okay,
and
so
Lindsay
you're
was
more
my
of a veteran.
counselor.
I
Huh?
know Lindsay. I know Lindsay.
Yep.
I knew Lindsay. Yeah, I was at that Pillsbury Mansion. That was my
Bro,
spot for
yeah, it
6-7 months. That was a
Yeah.
dope little spot.
Yeah,
Karen.
and I learned a lot of man. That's another hard part when my recovery. I learned how to my feelings, bro. My feelings. I had to
You
spot
got to
those out.
process every day.
Yeah, bro. I learned like what you know what I mean. Most
Process. Time to process. I did like a few with this process and stuff, but it helped save me, man. It helped save me. All right, we're gonna start moving it around.
Yes.
You're in front of the mic. Who are you?
Get over here.
I'm Dan Mack, and I'm a grateful recovering addict.
Daniel Mack. All right, now, you know what? You're really involved with Just Hope. So hold tight.
Yeah.
Who are you, young man?
Let me get my headphones
You get
on.
to own the mic all night. You ain't moving.
That's fine.
Them two will you.
I'm Keegan. I just hit 18 months sober. Let me tell you something, man. It's been fucking wild.
Watch the Fs.
Sorry.
No, listen, you guys. This is I've already swore angels. Here's the thing. I just want to put in your thought process. Who do you want to be seen as?
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell you how to share your story. I'm not here to cut you off and say stop swearing. I mean, how do you want to be seen? We got people from church watching. We got moms and childs. But if this is who you want to be you. I just want to put it in your head that way. I forgot to have that conversation with you. I tell myself that all the time because you've already heard me sit out here talking. And I got grandparents that watch me like, wow, Tim, your mouth is foul. Like,
Jeez, Timothy.
I just don't want to be seen. My bad. So 18 months, good up. So
Yeah. So I just hit 18 months, you know. And let me tell you something. So I'm now 27. I've been to treatment over 30 times, right? Josh is my sponsor.
Sorry to hear that.
You and me both. No.
He's on right now.
Yeah,
Show
he-
love.
Never mind.
No comment.
But yeah, I met Josh 5 years ago. Through some wild events. I was at Park Ave in South Minneapolis, right? And I was kind of treatment hopping. I was just trying to get off the streets. And I told him straight up then, like when I went into treatment, like I'm here to like let my veins heal up a little bit. I'm gonna eat some food. I'm gonna eat some of your guys' free food, and then I'm gonna bounce. I'm gonna get back at it. I probably spent like a week in Park Ave, and then it's like they let you leave for a couple hours. I was like, okay, I know right where I'm going. I'm going downtown. Give me an 8-ball. I'm gonna head back here, and sure enough, that's exactly what I did. And next thing you know, it's like maybe 3-4 in the morning. I'm trying to put a garbage bag in a vacuum cleaner and explaining to the people in my house about how the rodeo is coming to town in South Minneapolis.
So somewhere in the lines of psychosis.
You could say that.
Okay.
And then they shipped me off to the treatment center he was working at. And he wasn't supposed to be taking people in. And I just want to get this across, right? Like, I've never met anybody who doesn't care who you are, where you're coming from, what your situation is, more than Josh Fuss. This dude was just like, "Are you high? Are you high right now?" And I was like, "Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna come down for like, a good minute here."
Right.
So,
And Josh, just a side note, Josh Fuss is one of the creator or the co-founders of Just Hope. So keep going.
and he was like, "Yeah, come to treatment here." And I told him same thing. I was like, "Dude, I'm just telling you right now, like, I'm gonna eat some food, let my veins heal up, and then I'm dipping, bro." Like, and I went there. my car at the time, somebody had stolen the key for it, so I hot wired it and drove it over. And this dude, first time I see him, I get out of the car and I pull my paper clips out of the pigtail, right?
Yeah.
Hop out and I see him, and he's just this big Mexican dude, and I'm just like, this ain't gonna work, right? And I sit down and I'm talking to him, and dude, I'm still just sailing. And this is at a Addiction Health Center. I met a woman named Jeanette. She also showed me that care and that love and that unconditional, just like, get in here, come as you are. We'll fix it, or we'll try to fix you, you know. And she used to like make me take naps on her couch. She'd be like, "You look like you've been up," you know, and I had been up. I not even getting high, just like wondering, you know, like when is this gonna end? You know, when am I gonna get the hell out of here? You know, and you know, those two showed me such like kinship that I was like, I gotta stick around. You know, I have never felt like this in my life. And then I went back out, you know, and I stayed gone for a while. The next time I had called my sponsor, I was in Twin Town, right? And like, I got 3 DWIs. I got there because I got my last and final DWI, and I'm like, they let me out the hospital. I went to the hospital because it was just so fucked up. And then they let me out the hospital. I went home and I just started walking to the liquor store, man. I already knew what it was, you know. I went down to the liquor store, got a bottle of vodka, was going to go jump off of this overpass. And I'm like sitting there, you know, it's one of those ones where like there's a fence that comes up and it curls over. And I like climbed up. And I'm sitting on there and I'm just slamming this bottle of vodka. And I mean, slamming it. It's like 15 minutes and that thing's pretty much gone. And then next thing you know, I feel like a tug on my collar and my head hit the ground. And I look up and there's this big ass sheriff behind me. He's like, "You can't be up there." I was like, "Kill me." Right. And then I went to Twin Town. Or then I went to the psych ward. Then I went to Twin Town. And I called him, and when I heard his voice, he was like, "I have never been more worried of losing somebody in my life." Because when I left there, you know, I got into a relationship with a girl, moved into her apartment, you know, it's like getting drunk, fucking doing blow. And like, I was like, I'm fine. I'm not doing meth, you know?
Yeah, we're good.
It's fine. Like, we were right down the street from the downtown Alano. And I remember I was walking there with like just the tiniest little corner of a bag of blow, like on my way there, like doing bumps. I'm like, oh, this is going to get me through this meeting. Still sober, you know? But yeah, I called him from Twin Town and he was like, I thought you were going to die. And I'm coming tomorrow to see you. Can I come tomorrow to see you? And I saw him, and, you know, this is where my life changed right here, is because I had tried recovery. I had tried treatment. I tried all this shit, you know, and I was like, I'm just too fucked up, man. Nobody can fix me. I looked at the first couple steps of the program, and then I was like, you know, like, I believe in God. I've gone to church. I made a conscious decision, like, I'm a Christian, right? So like these first 3 are not an issue. But then when I started looking at like number 6, right? And I was just talking about this in a meeting the other night.
Thank you for not jumping. You are a beacon of hope.
Thank you.
Thank you, Snowda.
I was talking about this in a meeting the other night with a couple of the guys, and I was looking at step 6, and I was like, you know, there's no way God can fix me. Like, I am so broken. And it's wild, man, cause then, you know, Josh said to me when he came to visit, he said, "Listen, man, we've tried this every other way. What I need from you is to do everything that I ask you, or this is not going to work." And I was like, "Fuck," you know. And I did, and I did every single day for the last 18 months. The only one thing that I was not willing to do is stay away from women. And you know what? I regretted it, and now I'm like, you know, on the better side. It's just everything, you know. And only now am I like, I don't need none of that in my life, you know.
I do know. I do know.
And so yeah, so I then went to a sober house, you know. I was at the sober house. My sober house manager at that house started drinking. You know, we all kind of knew it. We all saw it. And there was a lot going on, you know, but they were like, okay, we need a new house manager. So they got another guy who was in there for maybe 2 months. And then they were like, you know, do you want to manage the house? I was like, no, you know?
Right.
And Josh was like, anything I said. I was like,
Damn.
but I really don't want to, you know? And he's
That
like,
means it's what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
oh yeah. And then, you know, I did it and I fucking hated every second of it. But I did it, and I did it to the best of my ability, you know? And while I was doing that, Josh then again said to me, he said, "Hey, we're starting this nonprofit, man. And like, I know you don't want to do any of this extra service work, but you're going to come fucking do it." And I was like, okay, all right. And, you know, like from there, it was one of the most beautiful things I ever saw, right? Because if I'm being honest, I don't even remember my first time being there. I remember like us setting up for Marco to come, right? We were hanging pictures and we were, you know, putting we were
documents up.
yeah, we we went and loaded up these chairs, right? These chairs, bro. You did not. You got one at your house or what?
Marco's an organization that needs to come in and sign off on you to become an ROC 501. Are they part of all that jazz to be official?
Yep.
Yeah, big shout out.
Big shout out to Marco for giving us that.
Minnesota Alliance Recovery Community Organization.
Yes.
But
So what now? Josh brings you in. What is your role at Just Hope?
do everything that needs to be done. Whatever we need done, you fucking do it.
So
Yes, sir.
have we not given out like titles yet? Really? Not really. It's
So-
just your help or what?
So like with that, we at that point we hadn't, right?
Okay.
It was everything was super new. We're like, today you're the resource manager. Today you're cold calling people, you know.
Right.
Tomorrow,
You might be fixing someone's car.
Whatever.
That's
Service
true.
work, service work.
you know, tomorrow we're gonna be painting this wall that's the wrong color as all the other walls. I feel like, have we even done that yet?
No.
No. But yeah, you know,
But are you clean? No.
it's fair. But yeah, I don't know. It was one of those things initially where it was just like, you know, this is what we need today. We got to get on this fast,
Right.
you know, and we did it. And
Can I speak a little bit about that?
yeah,
Come on.
Get in there. That thing don't move.
Oh, he did more than that. He doesn't even know, bro. He did so much more, and he's got us so many freaking prizes. He's got us man. He's done so much. It's incredible. Like, and this is where it's like we don't really look at ourselves in the mirror when we do so much. That's why we need people around us to show.
And it's a big thing that that honestly changed my life because when we all stopped looking in the mirror right? It for me, or when we all went into this without looking into the mirror, for me, it changed my life because it made me realize like our job is after we start recovering, after we've done our steps, after we've done all this shit is like, it helped me realize that like, it is my job to be the hands and feet of God. Right. Like outside of how I feel, outside of my emotions, and like a lot of, what I've seen, especially between the the three founders, is like that's literally all they're fucking here to do, dude. Is just like be the hands and feet of God, whatever you want to call that at the end of the day, right? And it's beautiful.
All of us, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Service, baby.
it's all of us, bro. Like I said, man, it's crazy.
All right. Well, we're gonna keep it moving, but don't like you're good. Still, you're gonna be still included. You're not getting bumped. And thanks for sharing your story. I know it wasn't in depth as much as you probably could have went, especially with a lot of the experience part. But when we talk about experience, strength, and hope, like we don't need to focus on the experience. If you're sitting in a lot of people don't come to these rooms just for fun.
Right.
Usually earn the seats
We don't.
in these rooms. But the experience side of it is to identify why we are in the rooms. Like you shared about some that someone commented on, is like they made light of it, but you came in to let your veins heal. Like says enough right there. And it is what it is. Like a lot of people aren't comfortable sharing about stuff like that. You're such an inspiration. Stay strong because you give those out there still struggling a chance to try. Thanks for sharing your truth from your heart. We feel it. I see you. You're the light.
Yeah. That's
Stick with it. Who are you?
My name's Blake. I'm a recovering addict.
Welcome, Blake. Welcome to the show.
Okay.
Give us a cap of your story.
I'm 38. I actually met Josh 20 years ago.
Nice.
I've known
Sorry.
Josh. I know, right? Yeah, and that's
That's
and
right.
that's how I became an addict. No,
This guy.
no. So we met just being hoodlum addict criminals in Dakota County, and just crossed paths, and yeah, it was kind of like a really weird scenario in the sense that now that I get to work with like an old friend, and we had just kind of continued to cross paths, and like I'm like justice involved. I'd say like I grew up in a split household. My parents split when I was 5, and
Is that what that means? When people say a split household, is that what that means?
yeah,
Bro.
I assume. Yeah,
No, I like that. I've heard, how many people that I come from a split household. I thought they meant like, I don't know what I
They're in a
They're split up, man.
Yeah, no, it's like a top level and a basement.
Yeah,
No.
something like that.
Yeah.
I'm a construction guy, so I'm always thinking of split. Like,
Yeah.
No, okay, my parents split up. Good looking. Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
But so I lived with my mom and my mom's boyfriend for the first like maybe 12, 13, 14 years of my life, and as just like a younger person, I don't know, I was just kind of like an authority testing kind of kid, and I got in a lot of trouble, and I got like a just kind of like a maybe like a complex to a degree, and I started experimenting, and it just kind of I learned right away that it was this behavioral disease, right? Like we think about addiction, and like a long time ago, like we realized that like, oh, I was an addict like long before I ever picked up. Like I remember doing like I remember like committing crimes and like feeling a need to like steal and like smoke cigarettes and like lie, and like where do I learn stuff like that? Why am I compelled to do things like that? And I remember I was getting kicked out of high school for like behavioral stuff and minor consumptions and like attendance stuff. And they were sending me to this treatment center, and I thought I was going to a Subway, right? I thought I was initially going to a Subway. I was like, oh, okay, this is
Like
cool.
a sandwich shop?
Yeah, like an actual
Oh,
like the sandwich shop. I thought I was going to a Subway, and and we roll up to this like complex, like it's like a brick building complex, and I was like, okay, I don't see any Subway signs, but maybe it's on the inside, so I'll humor this. And I go inside, and there's of course like big intake people, like, all right, hey Blake, come over here. And I'm like looking around, like, this is not a fucking sandwich shop at all.
I was
Yeah, I was like, okay, so and I'm just like obstinate, and I don't know if it's like it's me. It really is just me. But yeah, so they're like, oh, so this is inpatient, and you've been effing up a lot in school. Like, they would try to suspend me, and I would show up to school just because I was bored and wanted to hang out with my other like using buddies and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do that. So they tried to admit me to this inpatient, and I wasn't having it. So the cops came in, and I started fighting them, right? And so after that, I can't remember what happened. I got a obstructing legal process with force is what they called it, right? Yeah. Right. So that was cool. But as a result of that, like, I don't know, the place where I grew up, they just saw this on my record, and they're like, oh, he doesn't like us. And it was true. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong.
And it was true.
And like who I was, absolutely, at that time, I had a reason to be resentful, because like I was living a life that I was always either on the run, or in the midst of committing a crime, or trying to commit a crime, or like accessory to another crime. So I kept going back and forth to jail, and my PO was basically like, I'd be on probation, and she'd just be like, all you have to do is not get high, and you won't go to prison. Like, that's it.
That's
like,
the
just
one thing.
stop doing this one thing.
That shit's easier said than done.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, I'm like, oh, I can do that. Like, that's it, right? And I couldn't not. And that was like the first time it kind of dawned on me. Like, it wasn't just like social using when like the doors closed in St. Cloud. It was like, this might actually be an issue. And because I remember in Dakota County, I would I like had this kind of like addict criminal pride that like I had been there like 17, 18, 19 times.
Right.
And I had a designated cell in the whole like 23-hour lockdown. They're like, oh yeah, every time Blake tries to incite a riot, that's where he's going.
Hey, bro. Doing the show, bro.
And so then I got out of there. But then when I went to St. Cloud, I saw people like 30, 40, 50 years my senior thinking the same shit was cool. Like, oh yeah, we're going to keep coming back to this. And I was like, this is going to be the rest of my life if I don't do something different. And it really, at that was like the first time it actually like sank. So then I got out, and that was the first effort I made of getting into recovery. I went to an NA meeting, and it was funny. I had been to like one AA meeting in my hometown, and I then went to an NA meeting and with the intention of using with a friend, and he's like, I was testing him. He's like, I was like, yeah, I just went to a meeting. You go to meetings? Sweet, let's hang out, right? And like, I go to the meeting, and he doesn't leave for the first half. It's like, oh man, he's serious. I gotta sit through this. So I'm like sitting and like listening to these readings. It's like, oh man, like some of it's like starting to resonate. It's like, this sounds awfully familiar, weird. And then, but it was at the halftime when I went out on break. There was this guy. They was still doing fellowship. They were doing fellowship at his house, and everyone was watching Walking Dead. He would invite like 15, 20 people over to his house, and they would watch Walking Dead and eat buffet style tacos. And he's like, hey, do you want to come to my house? And it was like this huge unconditional love, third tradition type. You don't know anything about me other than the fact that I'm occupying this space, and like, I might have your assumption is that I have a desire to stay clean. And just that basis, you're inviting me into your house with the things that you theoretically like not having stolen. And that, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. It made me believe that like, there might be a quality in you that is worth something,
Right.
You know, there might be a quality in you that is worth something. And from there, I kept coming back because I saw in other people the same thing. I saw recognition, and I heard it in people that I would otherwise not necessarily not intentionally listen to, but like it's difficult for me to trust in general. Trust is an act of faith, and like I hadn't grown up with like a very strong understanding of faith. So like having that pre-existingly was like a huge kind of like using for me was like, oh, I understand how to use. That's my will, that's my ego. I got that. There's all certainty in use. The uncertainty of trusting another addict, like that is we are loose cannons. Addicts are loose cannons. And so to trust a recovering addict that they have my best interests at heart, wow, that is a leap of faith. But the more I kept coming back, and the more fellowship kept happening, and the more people kept showing up for other people, just because of this thing called recovery, where it's like, oh, you're trying to not whatever, I'm trying to do the same thing. Like, let's fucking grab a coffee. Like that was super powerful to me. Like Josh and I on and off had both been trying to get each other in recovery most of our lives. It's a pretty crazy story, honestly, and it's too long to tell, really. But
well, then this is where I'd be like, would you be willing to come back on as a guest to tell your story and be a guest on the show?
Yeah.
All right.
Might,
and out of just respect for what this show is, like,
yeah.
I'm not cutting you off because everyone's story is important. But we're doing a synopsis type deal, and I do like that you caught yourself on it. Like, hey, it is a story, but that's the type of shit where it's like, I want you back too.
Yeah.
Like, we're here. It's a Just Hope podcast. I feel like an asshole too. I snapped on him like, hey, you got a show going on. and then everyone nutted up, and it got all quiet, man. But no,
Hey, I don't know what you're talking about.
because we be loud, and I love it. We stay loud and we be excited in these rooms.
Yeah.
But keep going with your story. You don't have to dive into that
No.
deep stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like
Explain-
we
you-
kept crossing paths as just like friends that used and lived in the same county, and like we'd go to shows together, etc. And one of the times, the last time I had gotten out of lockup, I'd put together 3 years here, and I'd get into a relationship, or I slept around the rooms of recovery and used sex and relationships as
Imagine
a means
that.
to, I know, right? Surprise, surprise. As a means to, usually it's with always, like most of the time I think about it as like, what am I intentionally not trying to process or feel? Like most of my use is not even that I necessarily want to check out as much. It's more like, I don't want to feel the way I feel. Like like I have a deep inability to deal with uncomfortable feelings. It's super difficult. I have a problem, self-acceptance. I have a problem with uncertainty. Most of my life, I had a strong desire to know, and I heard it said at a convention recently that you're not going to figure it out in recovery.
Right.
You're not going to figure it out, and that both was simultaneously really good to hear and really upsetting.
Yeah, it's discerning in a way for myself personally. Like
Mhm.
I came in here, like I said earlier, I figured I'd come into these rooms. I don't know. I walked into these rooms as like an adult, age wise,
Mhm.
and expecting you guys to be like, all right, Tim, here's the answer.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah.
Like here, you jump down, turn around, and tap your head twice, pick your booger out your ear, and you're cured.
Absolutely.
Like I legit didn't know because my group of friends growing up, like I was the one dumbass who went off on this tangent of heroin and da. I didn't have a group of friends that were in and out of the rooms of recovery. I knew nothing about you quitters, and
Mhm.
so when I came to the rooms, I thought that's legit what it was someone was going to say, oh, here's the code.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing so you can figure it out how not to be a junkie no more. I
Yeah.
didn't realize, like, oh, shit, it's work and for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I thought the steps were like a one and done guide
Right,
equation,
right.
like 1 plus through 12 equals clean, and then I
Right.
get to like leave, right?
Damn, it's not that.
No, turns out it's not. So, but I'd heard this guy say like you're not gonna figure this out, and it was both like the ultimate answer is that there is no answer, right?
Right.
And that and I think about that in terms of like 1 and 2, like, okay, if I am in fact powerless over this thing called addiction, and like what then am I replacing that thing with? It's it's like the will. It's certainly not my like the willingness and the willfulness. I've heard it said and used like my willfulness. Like I stubbornly tried and did all this research, right? So many times I tried to get the things right and have the answers and like use successfully, right? I was like, oh, okay, obviously I'm addicted to XYZ, but not ABC. It's just I gotta
The
get the right,
formula.
I gotta get it's maybe uppers and downers, not like not psychedelics and disassociatives. Okay, maybe it's crack and alcohol, but it's certainly not pot and mushrooms. Okay, it's maybe pot and mushrooms as well, but it's Okay.
Just
it's all
heroin
the
on
thing.
Tuesdays and
Yeah.
meth on Thursdays.
It's like, yeah, and then as the last thing, I found myself like, wow, you can't put down anything without it being completely uncomfortable for you. And it was only then that I realized that I had to do something about it. I couldn't. I just ultimately, I wanted to be present. I had the 2 times I had been in recovery for several years. When I put together, like, both times I'd put together close to 3 years. It was because the state said basically do it or consequences.
Right.
And, like, that can and has and will work for some people. Both times it was people, places, and things that I thought I could get away with not changing, or just putting a little, like, Blake spin on it, like put a little Blake spin on the program and make it a little mine, just like do it a little bit of my way, like I take your advice, sponsor, but also I kind of like my way a little bit better. And lo and behold, if you go to the barber shop enough times, you're gonna get an effing haircut. And I got that haircut several times, and it was only this time I got out of lockup, and before I started using again, and I got out of lockup and I got in this relationship, and it was good for a while. I was in it for 7.5 years, and then in the beginning I was clean, and then towards the end, like most relationships, I started to lose focus and prioritize my recovery less, and I started using, and anything you put before recovery, no matter how much you value the thing, you're gonna lose. I'm going to lose.
If your recovery doesn't come first, everything you think you love will come last.
Yeah. And eventually, and that was like that was maybe one of the first wake-up calls where I was using, where I lost this relationship that in my head I had told myself I valued above, like, most things, but I couldn't stop using. And then I had to use to cover up my feelings of being an addict, of being so hopelessly addicted, and just like, oh, you're such a scumbag for using. This is like me talking to myself. I can't speak for anybody else.
Right.
This is how I felt about me. It's like, oh, you're such an addict. Like, oh, what'll make you not feel those feelings? Getting higher. And it's like, yeah, no, nope, that doesn't work.
That was the go-to for so long. It's almost like the normal.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was a combination of, it's just the general feeling of not being present. I was just using all the time. And between my romantic relationships and the relationships with my family, and my relationships with people, I wasn't present. And right before I decided to quit everything, it was around Christmas time, and I remember I was gonna end it, and I was really, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And it's not about, like, wanting to do this final thing, but like really just not wanting to be in pain, like chronically, right? Mentally speaking, or physically. For me, it's medication resistant depression. And was around, you know, it was around Christmas, and I had been using and my mom, I've been using powders, and my mom came into the room. My mom came into the room at one of our old houses, and you know, I was just like, she's like, "Are you high?" And I'm like, I barely remember being asked, and I was like stumbling around and like denying the accusation while like falling over myself and slurring my words and still being like angry at the accusation, like just incredulous that
Even
like,
though it was a correct accusation.
yeah, it's like, are you high? Like, how dare you?
Yep.
Yeah,
I think
right.
a lot of us can understand.
Yeah, because I was, you know, I had been found out. Like, I just wanted to use in peace. And it's like, no, I mean, I know my son and I know my house. So this thing happened, and I just felt like just super terrible. So I checked myself into a mental hospital because I didn't want to do it anymore.
And here's the thing, real quick. And it is to cut you off, but I also posted it while you were sharing part of your story, and I just posted it now. And if you're listening, there's a hotline. It's 988, and it's a suicide hotline, but it's not just suicide. So you can call if you're having any self-harm thoughts, or if you're having any type of questioning thoughts like that. Please give it 30 seconds. Call this number, reach out, and talk to someone. Keep on going.
Yeah. So I checked myself into I want to say it was Fairview somewhere. It was
Fairview
around
Riverside,
Christmas.
baby.
Yep, represent.
You were on floor
Yeah.
5.
Oh yeah. No, but I
Cool.
remember it was Christmas, and they were watching like reruns and doing crafts, and I don't think I spoke to a single professional for like the 3 or 4 days I had willingly checked myself in. And I was looking at the other people who were there on commitments, and I was like, oh man, if I'm here by choice, like, this is, I mean, I don't want to say whatever, but like, I don't feel for myself that like I'm getting a lot of help here. So, and you know, stir crazy also coming in off like all the drugs I was on. They cut the meds that I was on. So it's like, all right, I got to check myself out of here. So then I got out, also checked myself into drug treatment, because still it's like, I want to do something different. Like I really feel like I'm done this time around. Like I have to do something different, because like if I was going to do the thing, like if I don't know how much time I have, and I don't know how much time my family has, and I don't know how much time my loved one has, like all I want to do is be present for people I care about, because that's all I've got. So I checked myself into treatment, and it was very similar situation. I didn't see LADCs in the place that I was at. And again, this is my isolated experience. And like the snapshots that I was getting for myself at the time. And it, like, I just wasn't feeling like I was getting the help that like I wanted, even though like I probably needed that higher level of care, like almost undoubtedly.
Right.
But I checked myself at the time. I had like super bad chronic back pain, and House 2 wouldn't take me. I tried to check myself in, and they were like, your back is too bad for programming. So that's how you know it's like, oh wow, they won't even get you for the bed. Dang. It's like, yeah, you're messed up. And it sucked because, you know, between chronic pain and mental health, like it was really rough. But I remember the rooms were always something that I could depend on. And so in starting this thing, I called up my buddy Josh, right, who'd been going on and off through this whole journey. And you know, he had tried to get me to come to his wedding sometime before that, and I was like mid relapse and like super shame filled, and I know it wouldn't have mattered, but he still would have wanted me to come. But anyway, I called up my buddy Josh, and he, we talked, and he was talking about starting this thing, this nonprofit, and I was like, yeah, man, I support and believe like the vision, what he wanted to do, what he had in mind. Like I thought it was amazing, the people he had with him, where it was being done, everything it was, and just the service in general. I think service is I don't know, that's always been, but my sponsors thing is never turned down service ever.
Yep.
In general, I think like I've grown up believing that like our purpose, my purpose was to like just help people, like an each one teach one kind of scenario. And then when I found recovery, it specifically was to carry the message to the addict who still suffers. And then it was, then when Josh presented this nonprofit opportunity, it was like, absolutely, yes, please and thank you. And it was exactly that. It was like a jack of all trades type, like, what am I doing today? Am I cold emailing businesses? Am I cold emailing businesses?
Yes.
Am I like grabbing 100 bags of laundry? Am I sorting like 200 pounds of hot dogs? Oh man. Yeah. We have fun. Yeah, but or just answering the door, helping people. Yeah, it has kept me in the rooms. It has given me a sense of meaning as a medication resistant depressant. Honestly, there aren't words for what that is, what that does, what that means.
Don't go far, bro. You're up next.
Yeah, it's beyond anything I could express gratitude for, and it does for my program and my peace of mind and my desire to continue the work and to practice gratitude. Yeah, it's invaluable. It's invaluable. But it's very much a lost dreams awaken type of thing. My ex of 7.5 years, she called it a calling, because I was like, yeah, man, like I was like complaining about some aspect of like folding clothes for 4 hours and like putting them in like these weird places, and I was like, yeah. And then I got to go back and do like this other stuff, but I can't imagine doing anything different.
Right.
I don't want to do anything different. My buddies that I was just hanging out with the other day, they're like, if you could do anything, like if money were an option, what would you do? And I said, I'm already doing it. Like just this, honestly, like just because, yeah, I don't know. It feels like a lot of stuff isn't super hot. There's a lot of stuff outside of my control, and the stuff that I can control is, my reactions to situations, showing like how I show up in general. And I like showing up for myself and being consistent and showing up for others finally. Yeah, it's yeah, it's everything for me.
All right, this is where I'm going to cut you off now. I appreciate it. You don't, but you guys, neither of you are done yet. We're just moving on. Thank you so far for everything you have shared. Dude snoozed, he lose, man. Batters up, no vaping while you're on the mic, young man. Ooh, yeah, you guys aren't on camera now, so you guys take your clothes. I mean, do whatever you do. Weirdo. All right, young man. Who in the hell are you?
My name's Dan. I'm a grateful recovering addict.
Welcome to the show, Dan. Hang on. See, I wanted to save you till last, so that's what I'm gonna do. Batters up. Pull your seat right in front of you. There you go.
You got out of here.
Thought you got out of it.
like, wait, I don't even do anything yet.
So just get as close as you can to the mic. Who are you, young? Oh, hang on. What's that? I had you muted. What'd you say?
I said jokes on you. I drove you here.
He did.
Shout
You've
out
been
for
to-
shout
you've
out for
been-
him getting his license.
You've been to Will Work for Recovery quite a few times, right?
Yeah.
What was it like the first time you came in? Share.
All right. So this is the first time I've been to your guys' Friday night meeting.
Come on.
And let me tell you, that was powerful, right? So like initially walking in, you know, like I've seen all this stuff everywhere, and it looks nice, you know, but to see the amount of people in there, just in there getting it, like, you know, I had such and such time today, and this is what I've accomplished in that time, was powerful. You know, I saw an old buddy from one of the first times I went to treatment tonight, powerful, right? I saw, you know, people that are in there and they're like, you know, I don't really know what I'm doing here, but I'm happy to be here, and that was fucking powerful.
Right.
You know what I mean? It is amazing being here. It's amazing being even a part of this, let alone the meeting that you guys held tonight. It's a fucking banger.
This guy was language.
Sorry.
Don't you apologize.
Part of being a
That's
hillbilly.
it. That's it. All right. And we're going to be bumping, jumping, and bopping and bopping. Who are you, young man?
I'm Andrew.
Andrew, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
I can tell you're stoked to be here.
Oh, I'm super excited.
All right. Well,
My language has not been any better than his.
it's all good. Hey,
This is my
man.
older brother.
Sorry to hear that. If you want to, whatever, it's on you. Tell me about yourself. Give me a story. Tell me your story. You don't have to be super detailed. Give us 10, 20 minutes, whatever you're comfortable with.
Man, well, I'm
And tie it all together how you're here with Just Hope.
I'm like 5 months sober. I'm like a lot newer at this than a lot of other people.
But 5 months is better than 4 months.
Hey, true that.
Shit,
Um,
there was a day 5 months was a lie. There's no way someone could stay clean for 5 months. It
Yeah,
was
you
a
would have asked
lie.
me 5 months ago. I told you that was a lie
That's
too.
right. Never say just 5 months, dude. 5 months is a miracle, bro. I just drove by a memorial at the Holiday there. This little girl I know. She's getting high with her man, and he couldn't Narcan her back, so he just set her on the curb.
Man,
She was 22, 23 with a 4-year-old boy, dead. I got a video of it, man. Her little cross is sitting there because dude just was like, shit, I ain't got no more Narcan. So 5 months, I bet you she wished she had 5 months.
yeah, I don't.
All right, and I didn't mean to dig in
No,
on you
you're
like
good.
that, but 5 months is a miracle, bro. Thank you for keeping it clean for 5 months. All right, tell me your story, a little bit of it.
I mean, shoot, I never had to go to recovery or anything. I was real, just kind of doing my own thing and just kind of struggling with my addiction. I was married, and me and my wife were doing stuff, and we had kids together, and I mean, I was pretty decent at hiding it for a real long time until it all just kind of came crashing down all at once. And yeah, no, my brother had gotten sober before I did, and he kind of just brought me on. He's like, "Hey, you got to come hang out with me and these guys." And he's like, "Trust me, it's gonna be good for you." I was like, "I don't know, man." And I was all a part of the, quittings for quitters. And I don't quit at nothing. So yeah, no, I started coming over here, and I met Josh and Dan Mack and Angel and Blake here, and they really kind of just brought me in, and we're super like accepting. And I was like, you know what, maybe this isn't so bad.
Right.
So, I mean, I've just been kind of helping around. I don't have any title or anything. I'm just kind of like, I'm a groupie here.
Welcome home, brother. Great selection. All right. Well, then, what's been the hardest thing for you staying clean? Or has it been easy?
I mean, no, there's always the daily struggles. I mean, you know, you get alone and you're kind of like, man, there ain't nobody here, you know. Yeah. And I don't say anything, you know. But you know, you have those struggles every once in a while. But I mean, really, like, I mean, these guys have always invited me to come do something. And then you know, you're kind of like, well, I mean, I can either sit here with my thoughts or I go hang out with these guys, and you know, idle hands are the devil's work. So, you know, you just stay busy, and it does make it a lot easier.
Bro, give me a number. Pick a number 1 through 100.
Let's do 50.
We're just gonna throw it out of the curveball to you.
Yeah.
You have your own late night talk show. Who do you invite as your very first guest on the show?
My very first guest.
Living or dead?
Man, I don't even know.
Anyone, bro. You could talk to anyone, dead or alive.
Oh, a lot of people. I mean, don't be looking at the Lord.
Living or dead, anyone. Who would you choose? I know who I'd be at. I'd be peeling his ear back, bro.
Man, I don't want him to remind me of all the terrible things I've done.
Lord would be like, bro, I saw you do that. Damn,
Yeah.
I didn't take you. You lucky.
That's not what you did.
And there'd be a lot of those.
I'd be like, damn, he's seen everything I've done. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
right.
"Damn." Nah, go ahead. Who? Anyone. Pick someone.
I mean, shoot. I don't know.
He said Van Damme.
Yeah, frig. Jimi Hendrix. I don't know. Like,
Right behind you, baby. I just put that up tonight.
oh,
That's brand new.
well, all right. There he
It
is.
just got put up tonight. It sucks though with the glare. You can't see it. Someone just said, "Oh, you got new pictures." Can't see it at all. Got to come down here in person to see Jimmy.
Yeah.
Pick another number 1 through 100.
All right, let's do 60 then.
Get you out your head, bro. I can tell you nervous. All right. Say you're independently wealthy and you never have to work again. What would you do with your time?
I'd probably still work. Let me tell you. Like, if I'm not like,
What kind of work do you do?
I do utilities. Yeah, I lay pipe for a living.
Pipe layer.
Yeah.
Pick a number 1 through 100.
Oh my, come on. All right. We'll do. Let's do
Just
100.
5 or 6 more.
Yeah. Why not?
If you could be any supernatural creature, what would you be and why?
Crack a shark.
Oh, boy.
And why?
Because it's some mythical animal that my brother here has made up to scare my children for like their whole lives.
And it fucking works.
Always works.
What's been the biggest goal for you in recovery?
I mean, I just staying clean. Like I've always just kind of wanted to, like as I've gotten clean and been here, like I felt a lot better. And you know, I've gotten like I was pretty good at a lot of things I did, and I got really good at them. And like I don't, it's like it's a good feeling. It's a really great feeling. And so you know, I could do a lot of things all messed up, and then when you're doing them all sober, you're like, wow, I kind of can't believe I was doing that before. Or like, wow, I can't believe I have all my fingers or my feet or like aren't dead.
Dude, you got 5 months clean. What do you say to some guy who comes up to you and is like, man, all I want to do is drink, man. How do I get 5 months?
Well, at first you suffer through the first like 2 weeks. Like that's probably the roughest part is like actually like buckling down. And then once you got those 2 weeks, you're like, why restart it?
Right.
Almost. Because like, I mean, that was the hardest part for me was the first 2 weeks. It was like actually like trying to sit there and you got to cope with your thoughts and you got to cope with just everything that you have like done. And like, especially when your coping mechanism is to use,
Right.
like you don't want
That's
to
a
be
hard
there.
piece. That for me, that was a hard piece because that was what my go-to was for everything. Just get some heroin. Just
Yeah.
get some heroin. I can deal with this. Let me just grab some heroin. real quick.
Yeah, no problem. Let me just not be here
Yeah.
mentally.
Yeah. So what's been like the biggest highlight of what you got to get drug along to for Just Hope? Like what fun? Like what have you done for Just Hope that you could share about?
I
One thing,
mean,
and
just
then we'll move it.
volunteering. I sold raffle tickets. Like, pretty good at that.
So like you're a family man, bro, with kids and shit. I'm hearing. Like how awesome is it to see these junkies walking in at the place you're volunteering at? Like, is that normal to see all that shit?
I mean, yeah.
Come on, you keep on knocking, bro. Door ain't locked. We in the show?
Hell, man, I know your story.
Yeah, we do a podcast Friday night. You should check it out, Pete.
Happy trails.
Ah, that's the man right there. You saw him, the one and only Paul the Interrupter. I don't know. I don't know your story, man. So it's like I always ask someone like, what's it like being around a bunch of people you're not used to being around? But if it's people you're used to being around, then fucking welcome home.
Yeah, no. I mean, you meet new people every day, but I don't mind. Like, I like meeting people. I make friends everywhere I go. So, and it's nice to meet people that are like have the same mindset, and then you turn around and you watch them go and help these just random people try and turn their life around. And you know, it's a pretty sweet thing to watch.
Right. I'm right there with you, bro. Right there with you. I'm putting filters on you guys and take pictures. I'll send them to you guys later. You'll see. Hey man, if TikTok wants to play games, then I can play games too. Fuck you, TikTok. Oh, sorry about that, Facebook and YouTube. I gotta watch my language. It's TikTok. I'm hating on them bunch of busters. Whatever. Man, that's for kids, and I guess like if I want to reach the masses, like I gotta embrace that shit. Fuck TikTok. Whatever. All right, so you know what? Just hold tight. We got Danielle Mack coming in. Look at this dude finally
Get on the mic.
finally
Mac
on
is
the
back.
mic. The Mac attack. Big Mac, baby. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Dan Mack for the third time tonight.
For the third time, welcome back to the show, young man.
Not
You
a
got
problem.
wasn't you got cut off in the middle of you sharing last time? Was it you?
No, I didn't even get to start actually.
Someone started, and I'm like,
Oh.
we lost the feed. Yeah, I think it was.
No, it wasn't me. It was
no,
I think it was
Joel.
Joel.
No, because he
No,
on
it
the
was
board.
Angel. I think it was Angel
Angel
or
no.
John. It was.
No, it was one of the new guys. It was one of you guys. Yeah, it was you. It was
I was
you.
gonna go on, and then
You were battering up. You were, and
I was getting
lost.
ready to, and then we
Yeah.
lost signal. So
that's
yeah,
what
either
I'm
way.
saying. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean. Tell me your story.
Oh, whoa, where do I start? Well,
Not from the beginning and not all the way to the end.
I
Tell
know.
us some of your story.
I got this. So,
got this. I bet he said that before he got clean too. I got this.
a few times actually. So my story is just like a lot of people, you know. I grew up into I was born into a family of addicts, you could say,
Yeah.
you know, where it was a family tradition, I used to say, to become an addict and go to prison. You know, people in my family struggle from whether it's alcohol, drugs, sex, gambling, whatever, you know, if it's addicting, my family's hooked on it. You know, so I grew up with my grandparents, South Minneapolis, 31st and Columbus. Pretty, I was an outcast, you could say, in that neighborhood. My mother struggled with some of her own demons, so she wasn't around. I grew up with my brother, my grandparents. Pretty normal life as a kid. Till it was about third grade, I think. There was an incident where I got in a fight with the kid. Kid wouldn't got his dad. Dad came and sucker punched my grandpa. Grandparents were like, I think it's time to move up out of here. You know, it's getting a little rough around here. You know, Chicago and Lake area in the 90s. It's getting a little rough. We better.
Murderapolis days.
Yeah. We're going to move you out to the suburbs. You know, we're going to go out to Cottage Grove and things are going to get good. Boy, were they wrong. You know, those younger years are like those years where you soak in everything, you know.
Impressionable.
Yep. And what did I soak in? You know, the gangster lifestyle, you know. It's what I seen. And that's what I was drawn to, you know. When I did see my mom hung around with, you know, bikers, gangbangers, things like that, you know. They were the cool people, had cool cars, cool motorcycles, money, jewelry, things like that. And that's what I wanted. So we get out to Cottage Grove for a little while, and we had this neighborhood. John talks about it too. It's called Little Chicago. And that's where, you know, I was kind of a weird outcast kid for a little while. Didn't really do nothing about drugs. You know, I knew drugs were bad, you know. Like I said, my mom struggled with some of her demons, and that wasn't a path I wanted to go down to, you know. And then I kind of didn't have many friends until I started hanging out with some kids and, you know, started drinking a little bit. You know, I was like, oh, wait, cool. I can talk to you, man. You're cool. You're cool. You're cool, you know. And so it was all I did, you know. I drank here or there, you know. As a little kid, my grandpa would give me a sip of beer out on the boat or something, you know. Oh, this is kind of cool, you know. I'd go, oh, hey, Grandpa, let me go get you your beer. And I'd take a sip while I bring it to him, you know. And it was it was a normal thing. You know, we'd go up to the cabin on the weekends, we'd go fishing, pretty normal lifestyle for a while. And then I just started drinking a lot. You know, I had some friends that smoked pot, and I was like, you know, what pot's legal? So my grandma's like Cheech and Chong, 'cause, you know, so I grew up knowing my grandma smoked pot, and was like, I can't go home high. My grandma's gonna know I'm high because she smokes pot. You know, it was this really hidden thing. You know, until one day I was like, all my friends were smoking. I was like, wait, how's my grandma gonna know that I'm stoned if she's stoned? So I got stoned, and I was like, ooh, this is cool. And I went home, and of course she didn't know. Then I was like, wait, how's she gonna know if I'm smoking in the house because she's smoking in the house? I'm like, sweet. Hey, buddy, you got a bag? Come on over. You know, and it just became a ritual. You know, I started drinking a lot more, smoking pot. Then I got into like hallucinogenics, you know, things like that. And then I, you know, had a group of friends. We'd go to raves, you know, skateboard, you know, really energetic, you know, a lot of kid stuff, you know, biking, snowboarding, stuff like that. It was all funner when you're high or tripping. But I was the one kid who took it a little overboard, you know. One hit acid wasn't enough, you know, 6-pack of beer wasn't enough. You know, by the end of the night, I'm 5 hits in and, you know, half a 30-pack to myself. Got to the point to where, you know, some of my friends didn't want to hang out with me anymore. You know, we'd go up to, had friends going to college, you know. Only class I went to school for was woodshop. You know, I got really good at building furniture and stuff, you know, really good with my hands. My dream was always to build houses. So I got good at building things. I built kick-ass skateboard ramps, all this stuff. You know, only thing I went to school for. I think it was about 5th grade, you know, and some trouble. The school must have reached out to my grandma and said, you know, me and my brother both struggled with some things. You know, we were in the EBD class. They said I had EBD, emotional behavioral disorder. You know, I had an IEP and stuff. I didn't know what none of that shit was. So they must have reached out to my grandparents and was like, hey, you know, we're gonna send your kids up to camp. Me and my brother, like, we're going to camp.
Yeah.
We're going to. We get up to this camp, and we found out that it's Camp Buckskin up in Ely. It's kind of like a bad boys camp.
Yep.
And it was a rude awakening. You know, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna go on this field trip. You know, we're gonna give you some money to go. You know, buy some stuff when they take you into town." And comes time to go to town, and they lost my money. And I lost my shit. That was my first interaction with the police. Ely, Minnesota. You know, young kid, just belligerent. Lost my shit in town. These people are all looking at me, and get back to camp, and they're like, "Oh, now you got to chop wood and carry wood for like 3 days." I was like, "Oh shit." After that, you know, life went on for a little while. My first bit at, you know, recovery, I was 18 years old. Like I said, you know, the people I partied with got to the point where they didn't want to party with me. I'd show up and they'd be like, "Oh, hide the booze." You know, they used to hide in the dishwasher. That was their spot. You know, I stories just like looking back, was, oh, this is what normal kids do. You know, this is what high schoolers do. And then one day, my friends were like, "Hey, man, we're having a kegger. Come on over." And it was had just turned 18, been 18 for a few weeks, and it was right around hunting season. I remember I'm going deer hunting. I got this old Dodge pickup with a camper in the back. Got my gun. I'm going deer hunting. You know, buddies called me over for a kegger, and I show up, and these guys, 10 people, and they got a keg in the middle of this garage. I'm like, yeah, grab a cup, and what the hell is this shit? They're like, "Sit down, man. We need to talk to you." These guys went and bought a keg of root beer. And they knew the only way they were going to get me there. And they're like, "Listen, we're not going to tell you you need to quit, you know, drinking and partying and stuff, but just settle down a little bit, you know." At that time, I was like, well, there ain't no settling down, you know. At that time, you know, I'm really into coke, like I said, hallucinogenics, drinking, things like that, pot. I was like, I can't just settle down. I got to do something, you know. And I had a buddy, you know, I grew up with some people who were into cars, and I had a buddy who was a car guy, and he's like, "Oh, I went to this treatment, and you could walk off grounds, and you could go fishing. They give you a fishing pole, and they give you $30 a week to go buy your own groceries, and you can cook out." And I'm like, sweet.
I'm there.
Let's go. Where's this place at? Oh, Noka River Place. I'm like, all right, sweet. So I called down there, get an intake, and I told the lady, I said, she said, "Are you ready to come?" I said, no, I got to go deer hunting this weekend. So I said, "I'll come after I go deer hunting." And that was like my last hurrah, you know, out in the woods by myself. My truck just got shit faced. I didn't even go hunting. You know, I walked about halfway through the field and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing?" I got a case of beer in the car, you know. So I walked back and I started a fire and I grilled a steak, you know. And then I went to treatment, turned myself in, 18 years old. Went to River Place. Didn't really take it seriously. I thought it was, oh, I go to treatment and I'm done, you know, I'm cured, you know. And I graduated treatment. Not to say I had any intentions on, you know, my intentions were, I'm not going to drink anymore. You know, I smoking Sylvia, doing whippets while I was in treatment, you know, but I'm not drinking. So I'm doing good. Wasn't too long after that I found my first true love, methamphetamines. Oh, I despised the drug growing up. Then I tried it and I was like, I love you. And that's when my life went downhill for a long time. In and out of jails, you know, I go to treatment, do things like this, get a Rule 25, never do it, you know. Living in garages, all sorts of stuff, you know, the usual things. Wasn't until about 6 years ago I met my significant other I'm with right now. Actually, met her in a trap house. Multiple felony warrants, driving around someone else's car, extracurricular items in the vehicle with me, and I go to re-up in some person's house I don't know in the middle of a domestic, and I'm like, great, I have warrants. I'm just here to get a bag. Hurry up. Get your fight on, sell me this bag, and let me go. And I sat there for like an hour. She comes outside. She was in like booty shorts and a sports bra. And I'm like, oh, cool. You know? And, you know, it went on. We ended up dating about a year later and stuff. You know, she first came over, smoked all my drugs, ghosted me. And I'm like, screw this woman. And then she hit me up again. And I was like, oh, sweet. Hey, I remember you. Yeah. And it was just downhill, in and out of jail, you know, all sorts of stuff, you know. And at one point, I think we were about 3 years into our relationship, maybe 4 years. She's like, I want to get sober. And I was like, good for you. Okay. I don't. She was like, all right, well, I'm not, if you're going to get high, we can't be around each other. And I was like, okay. At this point, I was already, you know, maybe home once a week. Once every 2 weeks, out running the streets, doing all sorts. I worked, you know. I had a full-time job, building houses, had money, you know. I was like, I don't have a problem, you know. I smoke dope and I go build houses for 12 hours a day. What's wrong with that? You know, yeah, I might go to jail here and there. It's not that big of an issue. And then I convinced her, I said, babe, we'll just smoke on the weekends. She was like, okay. And then I made sure we got so high on the weekend that it would last till the next weekend. That lasted for 2 weekends. It wasn't, you know, we got into some numerous fights and things like that. You know, speed it up. I hadn't planned on quitting. That was my life. Like I said, it was a family tradition. My mother, like I said, deals with her demons. She's been to prison. I have a younger brother. He had some demons. He's been to prison a few times. And I hadn't went. You know, I was like, I'm the better criminal. You fuckers went to prison. And I'm just keep skating through, you know, all these crimes that I swindle my way out of, you know. Like, oh, I'll go to treatment. I'll do this and never go, you know. And I had been gone for probably like a week, maybe week and a half. My girlfriend had a notorious for blocking me, you know. After I'm gone for 4 days, she'd block me, and then I'm like, oh, well, I can't get a hold of you. You know, we lived in our parents' basement, and I couldn't get a key to the house, you know, because her parents essentially knew what the hell we were doing. They just didn't want to say anything. So I either had to sneak in the window or make sure that she would unlock the door. So I couldn't get a hold of her. So I'm like, I can't come home. You know, the door's locked. I don't have a key. And then one day I finally crawled through the window and she wasn't there. And I'm down in the room, and it was the next morning. And I go upstairs. And I'm like, "Where's Jen?" And her dad's like, "Oh, Rosemount police came and picked her up on a warrant." I'm like, "Score! I have no one to yell at me for not coming home." The really sad part of the story is she has a daughter that calls me dad, you know, and then she was at home. And I would tell my girl, "Hey, babe, I'm gonna be home with the kid, you know, blah blah blah." You know, I made sure I showed up to jail to drop, you know, money off, and she was at the Noka workhouse, sweetest place to ever do time. You know, I'm dropping her off cigarettes and all this stuff, and I'm just like, I'm free to go. This was November 4th. That's her clean day. That's when she got arrested. Kept going on. It was December 12th. I decided to go out and
Open that up.
go ahead. It's for everyone. I got enough for
Oh, you
everyone.
ordered food.
Yeah,
Well, I ain't getting into your food.
I ordered enough for everyone. There's 20 wings there.
No, man, we talking about mama.
Okay, but anyways, so
and you put food in front of a fat
yeah.
man.
All right. So this December 12th, you know, I had been in and out, you know, running around. Got off the phone with her. Was like, "Hey, you know, babe, I'm gonna be home for Christmas with the daughter. We're gonna put up Christmas lights, all this stuff." So one of my other true passions, along with drugs, was car audio. Love having subs in my car. You know, I still do to this day. And I just put subs in my car, and I'm driving in. I leave my mom's house, I just, you know, re-up, and I get pulled over because I'm tuning my sub and I'm driving on the wrong side of the road. Get pulled over. And at this time, you know, I just picked up and I'm like, I'm screwed. I know what I got in the car. I don't have a license. I don't have insurance. I'm screwed, you know. And they found everything. And at that time, I pretty much was like, "Yep, I'm fucked." It was, you know, as a, you know, meth addict, and you go to jail, you just sleep for a while, you know. Wasn't talked about the 4th day of sleeping and eating, you know, until I woke up and started to, you know, look around like, all right, this is, you know, this is where I better get comfortable, you know.
Right.
Like, I'm going away for a while.
You
And-
got clipped with some weight.
Yeah. So my first offer was 100 months.
With weight.
What
does weight mean?
You got caught with a gang of dope
and guns.
and sidearms. Good looking.
Uh,
We make that shit count when we get clipped.
and
Oh.
at that time, this is about middle of December, and I'm like, I know what I can do to get out. This always works. I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna go to treatment, you know. And I'm at this point, I'm calling everyone under the sun, you know. I can't call my girl to put money in my books because she's in jail. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Like, this is where I'm at, you know. I'm in my 30s.
I was gonna say you're what? You're 30 years old in your 30s.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm in my 30s and I'm following the family tradition, you know. And at that point, I had my surrender moment. I thought about it. I said, our daughter's going to spend Christmas without neither one of her parents because we're both drug addicts and in jail. And I had promised her for a month, we're going to put up Christmas lights and we're going to have a good Christmas. And I'm going to be there for you, you know, while mom's locked up.
Mm.
And the whole time I thought I, you know, been telling my girl, yeah, I've been home. And when she talks to her daughter's like, Dad hasn't been home in 3 weeks. He comes home and changes his clothes, sometimes maybe, and then leaves again. And we still haven't put up Christmas lights. And that time I'm like, I know that feeling, you know. I've been that child, you know. My dad wasn't in my life for a long time. He is now, due to getting clean. Didn't have my mother for a long time. So I knew that feeling to be that child, you know, without your parents on Christmas. It was like, I need to do something different with my life. A couple days later, they came in, did my, you know, chemical assessment.
Hold up. Was it a spiritual awakening or was it just you had a moment of clarity? Like this
I had a moment of clarity and a moment of surrender.
Okay.
And they came in and did my Rule 25. And as every other Rule 25 chemical assessment ever had, I lied my
Yeah.
way through it.
This one you were straight up.
In this point, I was like, you know what? I laid it on him. And she said, all right, we'll see what we can do. And I had an attorney. I went my
This
first.
is why you were in county waiting to.
Yep, waiting.
Yep.
I had 3 court dates. No state prosecutor. I'm waiting for the indictment papers. You know, I'm waiting to get indicted. You know,
Yeah.
due to what I had. And I finally talked to my attorney, and you know, my mom's like, "Oh, you got this really good attorney, blah blah blah. He's doing your case pro bono." You know, come to find out, he was a paid lawyer that decided to become a public defender years ago.
Nice.
You know, so he has a good record. And he talked to me, and I said, "Listen, man, I don't want to do this. You know, this is my first time, you know, looking at some significant prison time, and I want to change my life. You know, I need to do something different." And this time they still won't drop the bail, still, you know, were denying me treatment. And I reached out to my mom and some people, and I said, "Listen, try to bail me out $100,000. No one, you know, no one has 10 grand. You know, I had a bail bondsman that had a really good record for it. You know, she's like, $2,500, you know, and you can make payments." I couldn't do that. Couldn't get no one to do that. You know, I have some land in Texas, and I reached out to my grandma. I was like, "Hey, put my land up for collateral." She goes, "Haha, you're funny." And I'm like, "Okay, well," so I left it in charge of my mom. I said, "Hey, I need to go to fucking treatment. I don't care where you send me. Send me to Arkansas. Send me to Teen Challenge. I don't care where it is. Send me to treatment. I need to get my life on track." And at that time, I still had no hope. You know, I left my freedom, you could say, in the hands of a bunch of addicts who didn't have drugs because I was locked up. And I'm like, I know how this is gonna go. 2 days later, I talked to her. She said, "Well, it happens that the lady upstairs is a certified peer recovery specialist, and this is what she does. We have a bed available for you on coming up on Friday at Project Turnabout."
Mm.
And I thought it was like that Passages that they show on TV. I'm like, sweet, they're gonna send me to California. I'm gonna get like a king size bed, you know, and then talk to my attorney and. No, it was a great treatment center. So I go. So I talked to my attorneys, and he had said, "Listen, I'll do what I can to keep you out of prison, but it's going to take some work for you." But a week later, I go to court for the 4th time. Still no state prosecutor. You know, judge is like, my attorney says, "Listen, Mr. Mack wants to change his life. You know, he's got a family that supports him. We actually have a bed available for him. You know, on Friday here." And judge says, "All right, I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm gonna send you to treatment. You know, you can, you know, for a load of treatment, bed to bed transfer, or you know, or you can pay the $100,000 bond. But if you go to treatment, there's gonna be some stipulations. You're gonna be on an ankle monitor when you go, and you can only leave the grounds if it's, you know, a treatment related thing.
Approved.
Yep.
Up about all the.
Yep. And at this time, I'm like, where? I'm thinking I'm going, you know, out of state. And they're like, "Oh, Project Turnabout's in Granite Falls." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, 2.5 hours out," you know, and that's what I needed. And I go there. I was supposed to leave on Thursday from Ramsey County. Tuesday, you know, I had Sally's to go in and out. And I'm a type of person, you know, I'm a people person.
Yeah.
You know, I love to be around people. And I was
You want to hit that switch on the left.
I was in a cell by myself for a day, and I lost my shit.
You were in a cell.
In my cell, my jail cell,
Okay.
for a day by myself. Lost my shit. I got to the point where I was like cast away. I literally drew a face on the toilet paper roll, and I was talking to it, yelling, and I just lost my shit. Yeah. And I was mentally unstable at that point. And Tuesday came around, and they hit my buzzer and opened my door. And I'm like, they said, "Mr. Mack, come on down here." And this was Justice Point. He said, "All right, you're going to be released today." I said, "Well, I thought I was being released on Thursday to treatment." He said, "You're being released today. Treatment's coming today to pick you up." I said, "Okay, sign this paper. We're going to get you set up with this ankle monitor." This was early in the morning. It felt good, but at that weight.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: is my court date was on the court papers. I was set to leave Thursday. So I don't know if anyone's been to Ramsey County, but they suck. Okay. And the fact that the treatment showed up on a Tuesday to pick me up, they were like, "Well, Mr. Mack isn't set to leave till Thursday. We can't really allow him to leave on Tuesday." So I sat there for 7 hours waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to go. After about 5, they brought me down to the transport room where I sat for 2 hours, where I didn't get a lunch or anything. And I get out.
Oh, you got punked out of your PB&J
Yeah.
or your bologna?
No,
You didn't want to eat that food.
No, that green bologna. Buck,
the whole time.
You said Enoka
No,
Oh,
Ramsey.
okay. Keep going. Sorry.
So I had, knew I was going to treatment, knew I needed clothes because I got arrested in overalls and some Nike shoes and a sweatshirt, And I'm like, I can't go to treatment with this. So I talked to my mom, said, they're coming today to pick me up. I know it's supposed to be Thursday. They're coming today. I need you to meet me at the jail with some clothes, Go to my house, Jen's dad will let you in, give me some clothes, meet me there. She's like, okay, yeah, cool. She's like, well, I'll get you something. She had, a couple things. She was late, got tired of waiting, and she don't have a car, so she asked someone for a ride, and then, all the rigmarole that goes with that. And I get out, and there's a guy sitting there. Shout out to Nick. He's actually another one of the guys on our team. He's sitting there, and he goes, "Oh, hey man, you finally got out." And this little old man, Corky, I'll never forget Corky. We get in the car, and I'm like, "Hey, can we wait for my mom?" And my mom finally comes. She's like, "Yeah, I don't have no clothes for you, but here's a pack of cigarettes and a lighter." I'm like, "Sweet, that's all I need." She goes, "I'll go get you some clothes and I'll bring them to you at treatment, this week." And I'm thinking, treatment's 2.5 hours away. How are you going to get there? Like you normally call me for a ride. And so I went to treatment, finally get out there, and the ride there is great. Funniest story, Nick goes, "Hey man, you missed an awesome lunch." I'm like, what, why? He goes, "Oh, you took forever to get out. So Corky over here brought me to Casetas." And I'm like, "You shithead," and I got this little old man Corky who's sitting out there, and I'm talking, just bullshit. And Corky's like, I went to one of the treatment centers, only 3 in the United States that has a gambling unit. And I'm talking about how I'm been just gambling, and Corky's like, "Oh, we got a unit for you. It's called Vanguard, Yeah, I actually run Vanguard." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And I'm thinking, all right, they're gonna mix my gambling addiction in with my drug addiction. They're gonna mix it all in one. And so I go in there and I do my intake, and this place is sweet. They bring me like a Coke, and they bring me some snacks and stuff and all this good stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I smoke all this much drugs and I do all this gambling and blah, blah, blah. And they get me into, my unit. And Corky had told me earlier on the way there, he goes, "Yeah, they sure didn't want to let you out." He said, and Nick goes, "Yeah, but that old man was not going anywhere without you." He said, Corky tells the guy at the front desk, "I got 2 people's name on this paper, and I'm not going nowhere until I got both these people in my van." And so he waits there, and I was like, "Thank you, Corky." And I remember getting there.
Corky.
Yeah. And I remember finally 2.5 hours later getting out, no radio this whole way out there in this van. Listen to Corky, just talking, jabbing. Me and Nick are talking, and get out there. Anyone who's been to Ramsey County knows the food sucks. So at this point, we're starving, and they're like, "Oh, here's some rolling tobacco. You can go out and smoke, and we'll get you a dinner." And they had a taco loaded baked potato. I grubbed that thing down, ate another one. It's actually where I met another one of my good friends because we ate his dinner that night. He was in detox. And he comes out all pissed off and looking
Out of his dinner.
And here's me and Nick just munching down this, this taco baked potato and stuff. And at this point, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna swindle my way out of this, treatment center until I get out, get home, and I'm just gonna get high again, and that's gonna be my life. I'll deal with the.
Oh, that was your plan?
Yeah, I'm gonna use, but I'm not gonna, have it be that bad. I can recreationally use.
Yeah. I can control it this time.
Yeah, I can control it, and something happened, I started actually listening, in class, in my group and stuff, and it was cool. Like they had the way that they did their program there at Project Turnabout, it's an amazing program, And here's the thing is, growing up, in my younger years, I went to a Catholic school, and then some things happened, and then I got a really big resentment towards God. I started when I got older. I'm like, wait, God's supposed to be this all loving thing, and he took my parents from me and all this stuff. So I hated God,
Right.
you know. And then I look at these steps and I'm like, oh yeah, God, I can't do that. Well, Project Turnabout offers Wobriety, you know, and
Mhm.
you know, it's on a reservation, and I was like, I can work with the creator, you know. I know there's something out there, you know, God, I don't know, but a creator, yeah. So I started going to some of these classes, you know. And then they had sweat.
Mirror. Got you cold turkey, bro.
You
I
know,
didn't even think about
So they
it.
had a
The
sweat lodge.
lodge.
Yeah, a sweat lodge out back.
You're
So
good, yeah.
every other Friday, we had one of the Native American brothers would come down with his crew, his sober squad actually, from down in that area, and he would do sweat. And this time I finally had got word out to my girlfriend, you know, that I'm in treatment, you know. And after about my first week there, I was ready to. I'm gonna stay clean now, you know. I want to do
You
something
caught
different.
a message.
I caught a message, you know, and I got the word out to her through her dad, and now she would call me, you know, 6:30 every day, she'd call me, and so at Project Turnabout they have a phone system where you have to buy a phone card, you know, for outgoing and incoming calls you can get are all free, you know.
Yep.
So people would get on that call on the outgoing, say, hey, call me on the incoming,
Mhm.
and they would sit on it. It's supposed to be a 5-minute thing, but you know, people would sit on forever. And I got this schedule down, and I had a phone. My mom bought me a phone card, but I didn't call anyone. You know, I had no one to talk to really. My girl's locked up. You know, I call my mom here and there. So I'd be like, oh man, hey, here, use my phone card to call out to your people. I need this phone open at 6:30.
Right.
You know, and then we talk, and I'm like, yeah, babe, I'm gonna get sober. You know, she's like, yeah. I said, so here's the thing. If you don't want to get sober, you know, we can't be together. And she's like, no, I want to get sober too. And I was like, oh, cool. She's like, yeah, I've been going to AA and going to Bible studies and Celebrate Recovery while I've been in the workhouse. And I'm like, oh, sweet. You know, I said, this is going to be good. So I get out of sweat one day, right? I get through all 4 doors, and anyone who's been in sweat knows it's a real, you know, spiritual thing. I'm not, wasn't big on praying. I still don't pray a whole lot. But sweat was different. And I get out and I'm just like rejuvenated, you know? I feel like a whole new person. And the phone rings, and they're like, hey, Mac, your girl's on the phone. So I told everyone, listen, if this phone rings and it says, you have a collect call from Anoka County, said, hit 1 and come get me. And they're like, hey, Mac, you got a phone call. And I get on the phone. I say, hey, babe, I love you. First thing she says is, I know how you get out of jail. I said, what do you mean? She said, I've been praying for you. Ever since I heard about your case, I've been putting a prayer in the prayer bucket at Bible studies for you. And that was like my first spiritual awakening, tingling. I'm like, wait, I just got out of sweat where I've been praying, and you're talking about praying, and I'm like, whoa. And so I met a group of guys in there. And then some of them I still talk to this day, you know. And we had our own prayer circle in the morning that we started. We had the suite in the back corner, me and my buddy Dustin and another guy, and we snuck a whole whiteboard out of the main room and put it in our thing, and we would hold meetings in our room. So on any given day, we'd have like 6 to 8 people. And here's the thing: is like I didn't know much about recovery. I knew I wanted it, but my buddy Dustin, yeah, he had the taste of recovery before. He's got a sponsor.
Yeah, working knowledge of.
He's got a sponsor that I actually know, and we call the Godfather, just because of, you know, the magic he does. And so he would sit down and we'd have these meetings, and people would come to us, you know, with questions and things like that. And we got this bond, you know, and so after a while, you know, I get ready to get out, you know, and I'm like, all right, I want this, you know. So I get out, and I'm still on a house arrest, and I'm like, I remember my judge says you can only do anything recovery related. Well, I still have some addict mentality, so I'm like, I'm gonna swindle. I don't want to sit in the house. I'm gonna go to all the meetings I can. So I started going to some meetings. My first meeting I went to is Cliffhangers. It's a men's only AA out in Egan. Love that meeting. I still go to it to this day. Online it said it started at 6, so I would show up at about 5:45. Turns out it didn't start till 7. So I would be sitting outside this what they call the White House. It used to be this little house in Egan, and I started going to that, and I tried that, and I liked it. And I still was in contact with my buddy Dustin, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm going to the CMA meeting," and we had this. So we and backtrack a little bit. We had this really good friend who had a mental breakdown in treatment, and he attempted to take his life, and so they sent him to the hospital. And this was about 4 days after the incident. So the hospital was like, "Oh, you don't qualify to really be here, so we're gonna send you home." But he was on a furlough, so now he's scared about going back to jail. So we're like, "Hey, man, listen, we're going back down to the cities. We'll get you into treatment when we get down there." And so we did. And so like the three of us, we would hang out, we'd go to meetings and stuff. And this was like my first meeting with Josh Fuss. So I'm on, I'd take my pass and I'd go over to Dustin's house sometimes and we'd hang out, and then I'd go to this meeting. And I get over there one day and here's a sponsor. I didn't know that, there was a sponsor at the time, the sponsor's wife, and Dustin's grilling, and our buddy Josh, and not Fuss, different Josh. And he's like, "Yeah, so I go to my meeting, and a couple days later, he's like, "Oh yeah, we're going to the CMA meeting at the downtown Alano." And my first thought was, well, back when I went to River Place, I went to a CMA meeting, and let's just say there were some extracurricular activities that went on in the back room between me and another fellow lady. And I was like, "This is what goes on at CMA?" I'm like, "Sweet," but at this time I got a girlfriend now, and so I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna try it." And I'm like, "Well, how are you guys getting down
CMA
there?"
is Crystal Meth Anonymous.
And I'm like, "How are you guys getting down there?" And Dustin goes, "Oh, one of Phil's sponsees, Josh, is this native Mexican guy is gonna come pick up Josh, and we're gonna go down there." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'll meet you down there." So, this time I had been going to probably 5 meetings a week, sometimes 2 a day, just to get out of the house, and I was starting to catch this message, and I'm still doing IOP. Here's the funny thing is, like, I went to I don't want to say really shithole IOP, but they didn't really, there wasn't no sort of recovery. I felt like I was in couples therapy, and no one wanted to really get clean, I felt. But here's me, is like, I'm going to all these meetings, and I'd come to group and we'd have to do like a check-in. And I'm like, "Oh, so I went to all these meetings, and I'm, and I'm giving people all this, like, I'm networking already,
Right,
and I'm like, "Hey, here, check out you're, you may be LGBTQ, so here, I know this meeting over here, or, oh, hey, you're an alcoholic. I know this meeting over here. Oh, and I got all these different meetings, and so my counselor's like, "Oh, you should become a peer recovery specialist." And I'm like, "Oh, well, what's that?" And he goes, "Oh, you kind of told me." And this is, I did IOP for 5 months because it was a way to get out of the house, along with treatment. But anyway, so I go down to this CMA meeting, and I'm sitting there, and I meet Josh. I didn't really, and I met John, and John was this guy, this big, loud, obnoxious guy in the corner, and I was like, "Yep, he's definitely one of my people, He's definitely was a tweaker that I'd hang out with." And then I see Angel over there.
You out here, Angel?
And Angel's sitting over there, and he's got his pants fucking sagging, and his fucking boxers are all sitting up. And I'm like, yeah, his fucking ass crack is showing. It was. And I was like, I'm like, "Oh, this meeting is good," and then we get done, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to this place called Burger Mo's." And this is like my 3rd time going to this meeting, and I'm like, "Oh yeah," talk to Jen, my girl, into it. I'm like, "Hey, let's go eat," It's just another hour I'm gonna get out of the house, And this time I did.
No.
At this time I didn't really talk to anyone in the meeting, I just kind of sat back in the corner, listened, looked around, very observant, seeing what's going on, And we're sitting down at the table, and I got this loud, obnoxious guy who walks up. "Hey!" And I hear, "Hey!" And I hear all these people say, "Hey!" And I got John sitting at my table. We're talking, and I'm telling John these stories, "Oh, yeah, about these motorcycle accidents, all this shit I've been into." And John's like, "Have you found your, you know, so you know what your purpose is, right? And I said, yeah, to not get high. He said, no, carry the message to the addicts and still suffers that they never have to die again. You know, by the grips of addiction. I was like, oh. He goes, so you got a sponsor? And I'm like, no. He goes, why not? I said, I just haven't really found one. He said, you been looking? I said, he said, you got a phone, don't you? I said, yeah. He said, here, give me your phone. Puts his number in his phone. I'm like, oh, cool. So I got a friend now in the meeting. Didn't think it was going to be my sponsor, you know. At this time, you know, I've been.
Found out.
Yeah, I definitely did. This was, you know, not too long after I heard about this place called Will Work for Recovery, and like,
Oh, where is that?
yeah, they're like, oh, North Minneapolis. And I'm like, sweet, that's my old stomping grounds. I'm like, but I don't drive. I'm on house arrest, and I live in Rosemount. I'm like, Uber, $50 Uber here. And I remember showing up, and I'm like looking around. I'm like, where's this meeting? It kind of run. It looked like a rundown, you know, warehouse. I'm like, am I at the right place? And then I see this like sign that looks like a cardboard sign, you know, like that I would see a homeless guy wearing. It says "Will Work for Recovery." I'm like, oh. And here's the funny thing about this place is there's you guys do this thing called the walk and talk, right, on Saturdays. And so when I was in treatment, there was this lady who we used to think she was still getting high, but she remember her telling me one time, she's like, oh, I'm gonna go tell my story at this place called Will Work for Recovery on Saturday night. I'm like, huh, you know. And then I'm like, what a coincidence. No, wait, I don't believe in coincidence. It's a coinciding spiritual moment with my higher power. But anyways, so I come here, and I remember taking an Uber here, sitting outside, and like it's where I kind of started to look around. I walked in, and I'm like, I love this place. This looks like half the people's garages I used to hang out with. You know, I'm like, I can work with this. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get done, and I remember standing outside waiting for my Uber, and Carolyn's like, "Do you need a ride home?" And I'm like, "No, I got an Uber." She goes, "Oh, where do you live?" And I said,
I'll wait. Sit down real quick before you, because you're about to leave, and I want to hear. All right, Carolyn came out with the Uber. Hang on. All right, you got to smash out, Angel.
I do.
I know, and that's
I'll
all
be back
good.
tomorrow though.
All right.
Hopefully.
Well, we ain't got a show tomorrow, so
I gotta.
listen. You telling your story here tomorrow?
Oh, we gotta help out with the road, bro.
Oh, that's right. You got work ahead of you.
Jared's a beast.
2 quick things before you smash out. Pick a number 1 through 100.
Oh, my mom, 36.
All right, this is just to lighten everything, lighten the whole mood here. 36. And Dan, he's got to have some time to eat his food he ordered.
Yeah, bro.
This
eat
man
that,
ordered
'cause
us
you know
like
it's gone.
$100 worth of food. If you were,
$28.
this is lame. If you were a color, what color would you be?
Glow in the dark.
1 year incandescent. All right. No. That's 18 months. Wait, what is?
It's a year, baby.
I think. Oh, multi is black. All right, pick another number.
41.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
What's your proudest accomplishment?
Just hope.
Baby, I knew it.
Just
right.
hope in my baby boys.
We got 3 last things. 1, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Dun, dun, dun. Let's go with Mario. Spitting out fire and shit. You know what I'm saying?
That dude a plumber with a big nose.
I don't know, bro. If I had one superpower, bro, I said it. I've been on the show so many times. I say the same. I mean, it would not be able to get hurt. I mean, I wouldn't want to be getting hurt. I mean, I want to be able to just not get hurt.
You know this man does construction. All right. Finally, what do you want to leave this world with about some Just Hope talk before you leave? Tell us about your gratitude and Just Hope.
Man, I'm so grateful for everybody in this room and out of these rooms, and for Just Hope, because without Just Hope, man, there would be no hope. No, no, like I say, bro, it's amazing. Like I say, in Will Works, I met my fiance here. You know what I mean? And we're going strong, bro. We're going strong. And I mean, my people's here, bro. Like I said, my sobriety is amazing. And it just keeps on making me think, like, you know, I'm going through my steps again, and I think about, like, I actually think today. I don't just do. I mean, I have and I actually care about other people's feelings. I mean, and just hope is showing me more and more about myself. And I know it's showing more and more about the people sitting in these rooms. And like, it's not just, RCO or whatever you want to call it, bro. It's a program that we're working, that me, Josh, John, Dan, Ed, Mac, everybody, like it's a community, bro. And it's getting big. It's getting big. It's gonna be big, and like if we can save somebody's life, why wouldn't you do that? You know what I mean, if we can put some clothes on somebody's back and feed their bellies, bro, why wouldn't you do that? They said, bro, I finally got some donations and some food donations, and we got a lot of stuff cooked. You know what I mean, Dan Max got a brain over there that's just waiting to spill out with a bunch of activities. And it's beautiful, man. Like I say, man, appreciate it. Everybody in this room, Josh, John, I love you, my baby boys, and I love everybody, man. I love y'all.
Thank you, Angel. A lot of love coming from the internet on your behalf too. So thanks. Thank you. A lot of people saying thank you, Angel.
Thank you.
Thanks for just hope and everything and coming on tonight and sharing.
Come check it out.
So you've been Ubering down here, and now it's time to go home. Carolyn's like, "You need a ride?" You're like, "Bro, I'm way down in Egan."
I chuckled. I said, "I don't think you want to drive me home." She goes, "Why? Where do you live?" I said, "I live in Rosemount." She goes, "You come all the way here from Rosemount?" I said, "Yeah, I came all the way over here to get high." And she's like, she smiled. And I said, "I'll see you next Friday." Or I said, "I'll see you Wednesday." And I go home and I'm like, "Babe, I found the sweetest meeting around. It's called Woodwork Recovery. It looks like a garage that we used to chill out in, and it's just awesome meeting. And we go and hang out beforehand, And so she started coming. She was like, "Oh wait, I love this place," And so for a long time, we came here religiously every Wednesday, every Friday. But like I said, the whole time I'm on house arrest here, and this is all I could do. And like they said, they say you sit in a barbershop long enough, you're gonna get your hair cut. Well, this was the barbershop, and my recovery was the haircut, because that's all I could do. I could only go to meetings, and so I started to hear these messages. And back to John, I hadn't called him once. I didn't know he was being my sponsor. So, for me, I knew that I needed to find fun in recovery. And so I started, finding these events, and I'd volunteer events because it's an extra couple hours to get me out of the house, And so I remember going to, it was a pig fundraiser at Kaposia Park. And I get there, and here's loud, obnoxious John shows up, and we're sitting down talking. He's like, "You're not going to call a guy?" And I'm like, I can't. I'm on house arrest. I can't really go. He said, "You're not going to call a guy and start working on your steps?" And I said, "Oh, that's why you gave me your number?" He said, "What do you think? I just give anyone my number?" I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll call you on Thursday." And so I set it up, and we went, and we started working steps. And then I started to meet, Angel and Fuss and get to know these guys a little more. And this whole time I'm still fighting my case, I'm still looking at 100 months. At this time I finally took a deal, plead down from a first degree down to a second degree, signed the papers for a 75-month commit. Because due to my points, I was technically considered a mandatory commit. But my attorney said, I will keep you out of prison, but it's going to take some work. I'm going to, and he said, we're going to keep you on this ankle monitor for as long as we can, because this is what it's going to do. It's going to show that you can be amendable to probation. It was about my 9th month on the ankle monitor. I heard about this trip that Angel, John, Fuss, and actually Fuss's sponsor, we're going to take down to Akron, Ohio, to Dr. Bob's house. And I was like, "Oh, cool, this would be fun." So I remember going to court. This is right before my sentencing. I signed the papers, and they're like, "All right, well, and my conditional release worker, Abigail Argabright, shout out to her, man. She was awesome. She said, "I would love to, let you go." They let me go to Pig. I got to float down the Apple River with an ankle monitor on, my leg wrapped in saran wrap. Actually, the first time I came on your podcast, I remember showing my ankle monitor off. and
Over at the other spot.
Yep.
Right? Yep.
and I remember because there was an extra hour I got to be out of the house, you know.
Mhm.
And my girl's like, I want to go home, and I'm like, no, babe, don't want to go home. I'm tired of being home. But anyway, so I tell the judge, I said, listen, my conditional release worker said she's all for it. I tell her there's this trip I want to take with some fellow people in recovery, and we want to go to Akron, Ohio, to go see the founder of AA, Dr. Bob's house. And she chuckles. She goes, "Oh, I'm from Northern Ohio." Whoop, whoop. I said, "But my conditional release worker says that I need permission from the judge to go on this trip because it's crossing multiple state lines."
Right.
She goes, "Well, how about this? You've been on it for about 9 months now, with 0 violations. How about we just take this monitor off?" She said, "You can go down there and get it cut off today after court here." I said, "All right, sweet." She goes, "But I'm going to tell you this. I can't promise you anything, but give me a wink. She said, but you continue doing what you're doing, and then things will work out for you on sentencing. And I'm going to want to hear about this trip." So it comes down time to this trip. Josh couldn't go for some reason. Angel couldn't go for some reason. John couldn't go for some reason. This time I still, I'm not working, all this stuff, and I wanted to go. And then shout out to Josh's sponsor. He's like, "Listen, man." Yep, Phil. He said, "How about I get a room with a bed and you can ride down, all you need to do is just give money for food. We'll cover the rest." I said, "All right, And so I went, I went and donated blood for 2 weeks, and I had this money to go. And it was the most amazing trip of my life. Second biggest spiritual moment of my journey. I remember sitting there thinking, okay, well, I don't really know anyone but Bill and, his wife. I've met him at a couple meetings, and I'm like, who, so I'm talking to him, like, well, who's all coming? He's like, "Oh, a good friend of mine and his sponsee." All of a sudden, door knocks, opens up. I look up, and it happens to be one of the guys that I became really good friends with in treatment. I'm like, no freaking way. This trip just got 100 times better. And so out to Akron's a 13-hour trip, and we listen to here's the thing. I work AA steps. One of my mottos is I don't care what A you get your recovery from, as long as you're getting some recovery. I didn't have one dope man. I don't have one recovery, avenue. If I'm not liking something in AA, I'll go to NA. If I don't like something in NA, I'll go to CMA. I get it all around, I didn't and so we go and we're listening to like these speaker Jays, the old school, and like here's the thing about Josh's sponsor and Josh's sponsor's friends. They got some clean time under their belt. And like these guys got like a magic wand when it comes to, working the steps. And like, dude, just the spiritual trip down there, before we even got to Akron was just amazing, And I'm like, dude, I never would have imagined this. Like, I'm like 9 months sober. I'm going to Akron. I'm still fighting the case. I might be going to prison. So like I signed the papers for a mandatory commit, like I'm expecting to go to prison, and we go, and it was the most amazing time of my life. I remember telling a buddy of mine that I was going on this trip, I was in the roots of NA, I'm telling them about this trip, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, cool." And someone had said, "Oh, we're going to World." I'm like, "Oh," they're like, "Yeah, it's in Washington, D.C. It's going to cost all this money, And I'm like, man, I would love to go, I'm
Is
sure.
that Seattle or no?
Washington, D.C.
Washington. Yeah, go ahead.
It's the World Narcotics Anonymous Convention. It happens every so often. And I'm like, I might be going to prison. I want to travel a little bit. I'm going to try. So I call my sponsor, and I'm like, "Hey, man, listen, I got a predicament I'm in. So there's nothing bad I don't think about using, but this is what I want to do." And he said, "Well, how can I help you?" And I told him. And he said, "All right." And then I ordered my ticket. I paid, a buddy of mine paid half my airfare, and I went out to call. Here's where my selfishness comes into play. I didn't tell my girlfriend until after I bought my ticket. "Hey, babe, by the way, I'm going to DC for like 4 days."
I remember you telling me about this when it was before you had went, but after you knew you were going.
Yeah.
You're so stoked about it because someone helped you with your ticket.
Yeah. I didn't bother to ask her. I said, "Hey, do you mind if I go to DC?" Because here's the thing is where I didn't think about it. Like in her mind, just like mine is, I'm going to prison way for a long time. Right. And any chance she gets to spend with me is the chance she wanted to spend. And I didn't think about. I just thought about myself, you know. But here's the thing: it was my justification. I was early in recovery, so I'm still a little selfish. You know, I wanted to enjoy myself. And I went, and it was an amazing spiritual thing. 20-something thousand addicts from around the world. Like they did readings in multiple different languages. From one end of the main speaker room to the other end was a 6-minute walk. I timed myself. We got to explore DC on Lime bikes. It was an amazing thing. So like that's one of my biggest things, like having fun recovery. But so I did a PSI, right? Back to a little bit about jail coming up. I know I got sentencing October 21st, 2023 or 2024, sorry. And I get my PSI and I'm telling them, listen, this is all, I'm doing all this good stuff. You know I didn't really mendable the probation in the past. I know, and I didn't want to get clean. And now this is what I'm doing on the right path. You know, I want to be a CPRS, you know, and stuff. And they're like, okay, cool. And so my go to Senate and finds out the PSI lady isn't going to recommend prison. And I'm like, what? And so I go to sentencing, and here's the thing: it's like when I came in these rooms, I was a mess, you know, still in that hood mentality, kind of, you know, stuck in it. I had a job for a little bit, and I knew I might be going, so I saved my last paycheck. I went to court. I went and cut my hair, nice cut. I went to Sabres. I bought a suit for $15. The shoes I had cost more than the suit. I went in a nice 3-piece button-up suit, left everything at home, $1,000 in my pocket. Here's where the unity of this program comes into play. I remember going to a few meetings and talking and telling my story throughout, you know, my journey so far. And like, I tell these people, hey, I got sentencing, you know, and I had got some character letters up to this point. I said, I'd really appreciate it if some of you guys could show up to my, you know, court date. And my sponsor came, you know, and he was, and I had people from like multiple different fellowships. Here's the thing: it's like I went to court, right, with about 35 people from around the rooms. And here's the thing: anyone who's been to court knows that when you're the last person in court, usually you're going to jail, right? Because the judge is tired of hearing everyone's BS. And like we're going, and my sponsor's like, you know, I had asked, you know, can he speak on my behalf? And my attorney's like, he said, I don't think that's going to be necessary. He said, but if I get any sort of a hankering that this isn't going to go, you know, our way, I'll pull you aside and talk to you and let you know, and give you a heads up. And it comes time to, you know, I'm sitting there and I didn't even look the same. The judge is like, is Mr. Mack here? Raised my hand and she kind of looked like, oh, wow, that don't look like the guy that was just in here. She said, your case will be coming up next. And at this time, I'm nervous, you know, sitting there, and I was like, this is where my next spiritual, you know, experience comes into play. You know, my attorney comes and finally gets going, and the guy before me gets a 144-month sentence. At that point, I was like, my gut dropped, and I'm screwed, you know. Judge, I come up, and the judge kind of gave me a wink, you know. There's a few people who've seen it. And she goes and, you know, the prosecutor tells him stuff, and she says, listen, Mr. Mack, not only have you talked the talk, but you're walking the walk. She says, I'm going to give you a chance here. And she goes, you've been doing really well, you know. She goes, but first I need to hear about your trip to Washington, D.C. I said, actually, no, Your Honor. The trip you asked me to tell you about was to Akron, Ohio, and it was an amazing experience. And I really appreciate you for letting me go on that trip. And but no, I did go to D.C. for the World Narcotics Anonymous Convention. And she was like, oh, kind of smiled. And she says, all right, so this is what I'm going to do, Mr. Mack. I'm going to give you a downward departure. We're going to put, since we're giving you this downward departure, we're going to give you a few more months, you know, we're going to give you 88 months over your head for the stay of 3 years. But I don't think that's going to be an issue if you continue doing what you've been doing. And at that point, I cried. Tissue, you know. And you guys have ever seen like the court show, you know, where the judge is like, you're innocent, and everyone in the courtroom gets up and claps? Well, here's the thing. At this point, everyone who was left in the courtroom was there for me. both stands, and Judge had to look. She said, "Listen, I don't think I've ever seen this many people show up for one person," and the whole courtroom erupted up and clapped her, and she just smiled. And at that point, I was like, "I did it, but this is where the real work comes into play." And after that, we get out and we're going. We're like, "Oh, we're gonna go out to dinner," and she had said, "Oh, your PSI says you want to be a CPRS," and this is where the Just Hope comes into play. And so, my sponsor had been talking about, "Oh yeah, we might be starting this, nonprofit here and RCO, things like that." And when he goes, "Oh, by the way, I remember what the judge says, you want to be a CPRS. So once we get this thing going, you're going to come work for us." And I was like, "No problem."
Yeah, just a heads up, 15, 16, 17. We have 19 minutes and they're going to boot us.
Okay, well,
No. Keep going.
Yeah.
You're good. All I need is like 6 minutes to wrap with all of us. So,
all right, yeah. So like, we got to start going, and then this starts. I didn't really hear much about it. I heard, "Oh, we're getting this office and things like that." And at this point, I'm, I know I'm a part of it. I just don't know when it's going to happen. But it starts to happen. We do an outreach event, first big outreach event. I'm like, "Oh man, this is fun," And Josh is like throwing these 4th of July parties, And I think the first 4th of July party I went on, actually, I was still on house arrest, if I remember right. I remember like that's the first time I met Keegan. Didn't really talk to him. He was so happy because we had a trunk full of fun stuff for the night, And I'm like, "Oh yeah, who's this guy, And then after I start to know him, I'm like, "Dude, this dude's fucking awesome," Like Josh calls him my hillbilly redneck brother, He's like, "Oh, your hillbilly twins on the phone." And then I start volunteering my time, and I start coming to every outreach event. And then I'm starting to hang out in the office, And then it got to the point where like, it was what I did, I spent more time at the office than I did at home. It was meetings, work, office. Josh might get a little upset if I say this, but there was times where Josh would find me sleeping in the closet because I had just got done working about 10 to 12 hours at Twin Town, and I would come take a nap in the office and then get up and go do work for the nonprofit. Like that was my life. That was my day to day. And it burnt me out to a point where I lost my job. I was like, "Oh, I just get to spend all the time with the nonprofit." No. And then I remember I didn't have a title yet, nothing, and I went and I like, what do you want to call it? I asked for this title, and just like sold myself on this title, just like, "You don't need to start. You have the title. You have it." My title for the organization is Outreach Coordinator.
Outreach Coordinator. Nice.
And man, do I love it. I spent a lot of time day to day.
What does an outreach coordinator do?
So, me and Angel work hand in hand. I do a lot of the things where I would go pick up stuff. I would get us partnerships with other organizations. I got us a partnership with the HAT team, the Homeless Action Team, the Metro Transit Police.
Mhm.
Never thought once I would be standing side by side with the police, and things like that.
Working with the no-nos.
Yeah, but just all sorts of crazy stuff, and it just has grown, man, and I love it, dude. And I wouldn't it fulfills my heart. I did step away for a little bit, because I had to, for financial reasons,
Mhm.
And I went and I got a full-time job, but I still, on the weekends, I still do my outreach, but a little bit what Angel was saying earlier about these events, I come up with these events, I got these ideas in my head and I shoot them off these guys, and sometimes I get told, yeah, and then sometimes they're like, "This is your baby, run with it." So one event that we have coming up, April of next year, one of my passions in life has always been car audio and cars and motorcycles. So we're doing an event. It's a car show, motorcycle show, and car audio show. So we're gonna have like cars with major subwoofers in it, doing extremely high numbers and decibels. Keegan's like, he's talking about subwoofers. I'm taking them earbuds off. But we're gonna have the event's called Hot Rods for Hope, and we're gonna have lowriders. We're gonna have bikes. We're gonna have hot rods. We're gonna have all sorts of stuff. We're working on a location right now. We're trying to get the old Sears building in St. Paul, and it's gonna be a fun event. You know, we're planning an outreach fundraiser event. We do all sorts of events, you know. But like the team we have, you know, like I love it because sometimes like I still get ideas in my head that are irrational, and like some of the guys in these, you know, in our organization will call me like, dude, that is stupid. Do not do it. You know, like I called Keegan today with this like wonderful idea about this 94 Chevy pickup truck with a blown up tranny. I'm like, I can get it really cheap. Let's just throw a motor in the tranny. He's like, no, don't. I'm like, fine, I won't do it, you know. But like if I hadn't called him, I probably would have just like cash apped the guy this money while I was on my lunch break and bought this car and probably never picked it up because I didn't have a way to go get it because it doesn't run, you know.
I
Because
got Hot Rods for Hope in April. Do we have a date yet?
we're looking at April 25th.
April 25th-ish, I'll put
Yep, tentatively.
tentatively.
But yeah, you know, I wouldn't change my, you know, where I've become in my life today. You know, I get to show up for other people. People show up for me. You know, I've got to meet people like Balake over here, and we find out that we have a lot in common. You know, he spins poi. I used to do poi. You know, like we got the same, you know, fashion style. You know,
We love fur coats.
yeah, fur coats, like thrifting fur coats and making weird stuff.
Bro, I should have grabbed today. I was at, man, that's where I got Jimmy and I got Jesus and there's an Elvis out there. I got this and I almost picked up, dude. It was a black fur coat with a hoodie with this gray stripe down the zip up.
Oh, man, you struck out.
Hey,
15
what-
bucks is probably still there.
what's their shop?
Oh, man.
Maplewood, Goodwill.
I'm
I'm going there
that.
tomorrow.
Bro, I got a pair of neoprene Series 600 bibs. Dude, them are like $400. I got them for $12, bro.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, I know we're almost out of time here. But yeah, you know, this organization has grown substantially, you know, and it's due to the people that we have in it. You know, I remember showing up for days and Keegan over here was just, you know, if he wasn't fixing someone's car so they could get to work or something, he was out here contacting places to get. I think he had one time I showed up and there was like 30 boxes of Bob Barker soap that I think this guy got for us. Like I was
I
like,
didn't hear the name Bob Barker.
I was like, what is this all doing here? And they were like, oh, we're gonna give it out to the homeless.
The worst was the freshman.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and there was like,
We're all
case-
like, no.
it was like cases of, you know, it was like,
Dude, my feet got so jacked. My mama told got so jacked from
But,
some
like,
Barkers,
you know,
dude.
I see the passion that this has, you know, that this company, you know, this organization gives people, you know, like you guys have become my brothers, you know. On any given day, I can call them, you know, and I do. I just call them, you know, when I need something, I call them and they help out. But sometimes I just call them just to say, hey, what's up, you know. And if they're going through it, you know, we talk about it, you know. It's became a family more than just, you know, a workplace, and that's what I love, dude. You know, like I called Blake, you know, and I bullshit him with him, you know, and he's like, hey man, I'm having a rough day, you know, but I get to go to the office tomorrow, you know. And then I talked to Keegan. Keegan's like, yeah, I'm wrenching on the car doing this, you know. And then, you know, I got Andrew over here. He's like, oh yeah, this is sweet. We should do this, you know. And then he's like, oh, you want to buy this pop up? I'll trade you this pop up for a truck, you know. And like, then I go to their house and I'm like, why don't I just live in your backyard, you know?
You can.
Yeah, that's sweet.
It's an option.
There's a pop up.
Yeah. You know, and like we do, like, here's the thing is like, there's not an outing that our organization goes to that we don't have, like, I don't want to say cult following, but like the amount of people that are around are like, we do like the Walk for Recovery, right? We have so many people that sat around our booth all day, you know, like our booths at any sort of event that we have a booth is the most hopping spot there is, you know, where half the people that are at other organizations are coming hanging out with us. You know, we're loud, we're proud, you know. Like Angel is, he's loud about his recovery. So am I, dude. I travel all over. I've been to Washington, D.C. I've been to Akron. I went to Omaha for conventions. I'm going to Kansas in January for a convention. You know, a lot of my clothes are NA related. You know, I scream recovery. You know, and all that has to do with like being a part of this organization, being part of like this family, this unity. You know, there's days where I just feel like shit and don't want to do anything. And then I think about it, it's like someone needs me today, you know? I get to show up for people, you know,
Oh yeah. Hey, bro, you want to hit that switch down now? Thanks.
and I get to show up for people, and people show up for me, and that's a new experience for me. The only time people showed up was because they wanted something, you know, and then you know it's just an amazing thing. Like we joke around with each other, you know, we crack jokes and we talk smack to each other, but it's all in love, and you know, it's all in love, and it's like at any time, any one of us calls anyone, you know, we need something, you know, someone's there, shirt off the back, you know. And our organization has grown so much. Like I do these car audio meets on Saturdays, and like I hear people come up and they're like, "Oh, you're that Just Hope guy."
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know, like, "Oh, hey, I'm actually from an organization, an RCO up in Duluth."
Network.
You know, and it's like, whoa, you know, and that's kind of what brought me that idea of the Hot Rods for Hope with the car audio and things like that. You know, it's just bring a network of people. You know, bring two of my passions, car audio and helping others. You know, bring it into one and just make fun time of it. Because if I'm not having fun in recovery, I know where to get some fun, but it's not fun that's like wholeheartedly fun, you know.
Right.
But yeah, you know, like I said, I love the family we have here at Just Hope. I love going out and seeing people. People love seeing us. It's an amazing thing, and I know you're about to cut me off.
I am 9 minutes, so we're gonna get to wrapping up. Pick a number 1 through 100.
14.
14. Feeling green with 14. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Being cuddled.
Oh, damn. Rough and
Emotional
right.
intimacy.
Yeah.
I was caught in a cuddle or snuggle struggle, and she messed up my arm.
Oh, Kyle, so get close to your mic and pick a number 1 through 100.
86.
86.
86 in them drugs.
You can have an unlimited supply of one thing for the rest of your life. What is it?
Chevy truck. Small block Chevys.
Oh, see, I'm more of an LS guy.
Wishes.
Turbos.
Turbos.
Good one.
No, for real though, if I had an unlimited supply of anything in the world, it would be money, and I would probably use it to just like fund all these nonprofits that are getting shut down. You know,
It's a goodie. Pick a number 1 through 100.
72.
70 dudes. What is your favorite TV show?
MASH.
The 4077, baby.
Uh,
Hawkeye and Pierce.
Hawkeye.
No, Pierce is Hawkeye. Okay. They didn't boot me yet. All right, no. Pick a number 1 through 100. Be loud.
Oh, shit.
Proud.
Let's see. Let's do the Dirty 69.
oh, that's what I did. last
Okay,
night.
Nice.
Oh, I have.
What's your favorite tradition on holidays?
Oh man, probably fighting my brothers.
We'll do one more round. Pick a number 1 through 100.
6.
6. What's your favorite thing to do in the summer?
Drive around and play loud music.
Nice. Back. Pick a number 1 through 100.
Give me 3.
3. What is one goal that you'd like to accomplish during your lifetime?
I would like to make it all the way around the world once.
Nice. 1 through 100.
42.
4 dudes. What's the most valuable piece of advice you have been given?
You can't go. You go to the barbershop enough times, you're gonna get a haircut easily.
That's a solid one. That is. 1 through 100.
15.
Interesting thing about you that you dislike.
Fuck, man.
No.
Name the qualities you hate.
An interesting thing about you that you dislike.
Whimsical.
Whimsical.
And
Somebody to choose from.
Tell us about a unique or quirky habit of yours.
I have this habit where I like to take working vehicles and make them not. No, I'm just kidding. No. So I have a habit, right? I wake up and I put my clothes on and I go to work and I get home and I take them off. I throw them in the same pile every single night, right? And I have this weird habit where I just go through each pair of pants and I take everything out and I set it down and I'm like, okay, I've got everything. And I just will do that like 15 times.
Yes,
I
it's
guess.
quirky. That's quirky. That
I don't
works.
know.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Any superpower?
Any superpower.
I would have the superpower, like the ability to just make people do things, right?
Mind control?
I guess mind control, but just make them do things, right? So like, if I were to show up somewhere, right, and somebody said to me, you know, like, we need to get this done, and nobody's getting shit done, I'd be like, everybody's getting shit done, you know?
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Yeah, I'd say that, but for myself, just like the ability to bottle self-will. Yeah, just to manufacture self-will on a moment's notice. It's like, I'm not feeling it. JK, I am.
Any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, shoot. X-ray vision.
Any superpower?
The right answer.
Power of forgiveness.
Oh.
Tell me about your gratitude. Name of the show is Attitude for Gratitude. What's your gratitude look like?
I'm just grateful to be grateful today. I didn't know what gratitude was for a long time. I thought gratitude was a bag of good dope, you know, getting out of jail today and things like that. But I'm just grateful for the people I have in my life today, the family I built. Just grateful for my recovery. Grateful for all this. I'm grateful for you having me back on here again.
Oh, yeah.
And grateful for fried chicken.
Fried chicken. Tell me about your gratitude.
I'm really grateful for my brother dragging me out of a hole and meeting all these guys.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about your gratitude.
I'm grateful for my recovery, my family, my friends, this opportunity, and yeah, the ability to be mindful, clean today.
Tell me about your gratitude.
Oh man, I'm so grateful for so much. I'm grateful that I haven't stopped breathing in a bus stop in a while. I am grateful that my brother is here with me. You know, I'm grateful to be here. This is amazing. You guys got an amazing thing going on here.
That's what's
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Look at that. 43. 2 minutes left. We killed this
Oh.
shit. All
Killed
right.
that
Wrap up time.
Tell us about
Wow.
your gratitude.
Shit, I'm staying my gratitude. I'm gratitude. My gratitude speaks when I care, when I share about addicts every way. Now, I'm grateful for the ones I thought were asshole cops that were out to get me. I'm grateful for the judges that were pissed off at me. I'm grateful for the trouble I've gotten in because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without all that drama. Real tough.
It's funny you say that. My girl actually wrote a thank you letter to the cop that came in and arrested her, but she couldn't go deliver it, so she had her dad deliver it.
No, I get it. Shit, I get it 100%. All right. Hey, if you're out there struggling tonight, please, please, please reach out. Like, you heard a lot of people share about their stories and their struggles and how they made it through and where they're at today and how it worked out, how it didn't work out, and how they're sitting in this room today. Like, you can have that. This shit wasn't, you didn't hear someone say, like, oh, they wouldn't let me get recovery. They wouldn't let me into the rooms. You heard about a bunch of places, Just Hope, like Twin Town, New Way, Fairview. We share about everything. We use over nothing. Like, it's what we get to do today. So if you're out there struggling, please, please, please reach out. And there was a lot of talk tonight about some self-harm and some suicide stuff. And the hotline is 988. Please utilize that. We had that professional who came on and shared about some stats that if you give yourself 30 seconds, if you're having those type of thoughts, just wait 30 seconds and that shit will leave your brain. Some fact, I guess. I don't know. You don't need to prove us wrong on that one. Just dial 988 like if you're struggling. Otherwise, come on down to 4026 Washington Avenue North. I still hear them over there banging that karaoke shit. So Like it's taken off. So come on down and get part of, not apart from. Like you're worth this life. Come on down and be part of it. Thanks for joining us. Bye.